Hi, everyone, and welcome back to episode number 73 of the Couch on Ice podcast. We got a lot of stuff to talk about today. Hockey's back after the All-Star weekend. We got a lot of brass and people behind the benches either coming in or leaving. Some fun games to talk about. Hockey is just, so good this week. I had so much fun watching. But before we get into that, let's introduce the boys. I'll throw it over to Chase to start. How's it going today, Chase?
Nice and beautiful.
Oh,
another nice day of I think it rained.
It was raining.
It rained last night, yeah. So
this morning
that's
too
good.
a bit.
That's good.
So at least it's like +4, so it's not like freezing and you can dry places still. But no.
Yeah. No,
what?
Just great.
What have you been up to the past few days other than just looking out your window saying, nice weather?
Yeah. No, just bumping tunes, man. I've been bumping a lot of tunes lately.
Bumping lots of tunes,
Real nice. Feels real nice. Little Tech 9 dude was on I was watching games and like I hear Tech 9 songs and I'm just blown away because I've been listening to this guy for like 10 12 years or something dumb. And yeah, it's just nuts that they actually play his songs on just some of the songs that he's made and like some of the guys that he's made songs with and stuff like that. They're music guys. It's like it's not it seems dark and stuff like that, but like it's not really.
It's just music.
It's more just music, but no, it's so cool to actually see like one of my favorite artists, like a rap artist, actually
being used in a game.
Yeah, exactly.
Music,
and like the Super Bowl, we got like Dre and those guys. Like
I'm excited.
I listened to these guys for like ever. Like
this is
Mary
actually
J. Blige and this stuff. Like these people are super awesome. So excited for that. Like,
you bring up the Super Bowl, and this is the first time I'm actually excited for the halftime show. Like 99% of the time, I'm like,
legitimately excited.
Who gives a shit? I'm usually going to get a beer in that time, or I'm going to make some food or go bath.
Yeah, definitely.
I really don't care.
Some time of it, you know, like I'll definitely. Unless
it's
start because they got like fireworks and maybe some stuff, or
unless it's J-Lo and Shakira, I'm not watching. But
Shakira.
But no, like this year I'm actually excited because I like all of the rappers in it, and they're all really good rappers. Three of them older, obviously, and then Kendrick coming in. But yeah, I really
hope they like. I just want people to make new music for things and like I don't know, just make a song for that event sort of thing. And I've never seen it before.
It's because all people want is the hits. Think of it, you're a fan, you're drunk at the stadium. Do you want to go sing a song that was a #1 song in 2005, or do you want to sing a brand new one? They're like, I don't know this. But I'm super.
No, it's definitely gonna be crazy because like think about like the actual party songs. A lot of them are Eminem songs and stuff.
Yeah.
So, like, it's gonna be definitely gonna play one of them, and it's just that like it's not super fitting in the whole super public stage.
It's basically it's gonna be pretty hard to mess up this year. So like with how much of great music they all have, it's gonna be really hard to pick a bad set list.
They fail. Like everybody that listens to those people
are
people that just love.
If they do, music, I officially give up on all halftime shows. But
yeah, exactly. They could be bleeping out half the words the whole time.
I'm done.
I'll still be happy about it.
If all I can hear is them pausing, though, I'm done.
Recognition to do it, like
if they pause every 5 seconds, I'm done. Like if they go, like
that's what I'm saying. Like
it's awful.
Like most of their songs are not.
Eminem's smart. He can find a filler word that isn't
like that's what I'm saying.
Shit.
Like you guys like. I don't understand. Like most artists should be good enough that you should be able to tweak your own songs to be like for football or something like that. Like tweak
for national TV.
Like, like you can do that. Come on, give me a break. I've never seen it. I hope they do it. I hope somebody does it one day for fuck's sake.
Me too.
Like,
Whatever. Anyways, how about I throw it to the other half of the podcast? I'll throw it over to Jordan. What are you up to this week, Jordan?
Not much. Just my grandpa's birthday this weekend, so that's about it.
Oh yeah, it's exciting time hanging out with your grandparents. How's it being back? Are you happy, sad, cold?
A bit of both.
So No, that's good at least.
Goods and bads, right?
Goods and bads, absolutely. How's the new dog? You actually get to like see the
Uh,
dog down.
Yeah, he's a handful.
Is he? See a lot.
So he's
Play a
not
lot.
a husky. I learned
Okay.
he's a shepherd mixed with a Great Pyrenees.
Oh, I love those dogs.
Yeah, so he's gonna be a massive fucking guy.
Yeah.
Cool.
Oh yeah. Great Pyrenees are huge dogs. They're huge dogs. No, that's awesome though. How old is he again? Is he like what? Like a couple months
like
old? Or
4 months.
4 months.
Awesome.
Nice.
So
That's
he's
awesome. I can't wait to get a dog. I'm so pumped. So I'm just gonna be asking you every podcast so I can get my fill. But should we dive into some hockey, boys? I think it's fitting. Hey,
Let's do
who
it.
wants to kick her off? Is anyone intrigued to kick her off, or should I?
I could kick it off if you
Go for it,
really
Chase.
want
Go for
to.
it.
Jeez Louise.
What
Well,
do you got for quick rips?
a little quick rip. I'm going to the Devil's land after a
Who?
7-1 drubbing on the Habbies there, but this
Very
one
hilarious game.
but this one is more about one specific guy, underrated, in the weeds, just a
Caden
big, strong
Primo.
big, strong right-handed center. Former first-round pick Mccloud needs some recognition
Oh yeah.
with a 58.8 face-off percentage.
Nice.
He wins to draw to make.
Boy.
He wins the draw, makes the play to get it back to the D-man, and nets and scores the opening goal off like a rebound or something like that. And then later on, like with the fourth goal, he does the exact same thing. Wins the face-off, goes to net, cleans up the garbage, scores another one. Like,
Beautiful.
boom. This guy is just epic. Like I said, 58% face-off percentage is ridiculous.
That's
Who is this guy?
Really good.
Who is this guy? But yeah, he's just a beast, 6'2", 200 pounds, man. Yeah, I cannot wait to keep watching this guy. This Devils team has a riches of forward talent, and I'm so scared.
They've had for a long
when
time.
this team takes the next step.
They have so many guys that are just random, like first or second round picks in this team. Like, oh, Michael Mccloud. Oh, Jesper Boquist. Oh, Pavel Zacha. Oh, like all these guys going down the list, and there's a couple guys in the minors even. Like, oh my god.
Yeah, it's a good example of what Edmonton's missing and stuff like that. Like that's what I'm trying to get at with Edmonton and Canadian teams is like just keep drafting and developing and actually have several prospects playing at one time instead of just
having one
trying to play two or three.
Hitting hope.
Yeah, hitting hope. But I'll continue. The Canucks get 5
Can
goals.
I add on to the Primo thing really quick? He had a .794 save percentage in that game and was in for all 7 goals. So I like Primo.
Ooh.
I like him as a prospect, but he cannot play in the NHL right now. Like he's just play him in the AHL, shelter him. Please don't let him get shelled, right?
Slide a little too much here and there.
Yeah,
and
he's a good goalie. He's young though. Like don't rush him into the NHL is all I'm saying. So, anyways, you can move on to your Vancouver and.
But seemingly all they can do in Habland is rush people into the ice and play whoever can play.
Claim Aaron Dell. Like if you want to lose, claim Aaron Dell and start him because like you're gonna get the same results as Caden Primo, but like at least Primo will still develop.
Yeah, but Aaron Dell hurt people apparently, so that's why he's not coming back.
Yeah, exactly.
True. Okay, play Montembeau for the 40 games remaining. Literally 40 straight games. Go for it.
Yeah, the old Habs. We'll get to them later. The Canucks get 5 goals out of their double squad is what I'm calling them because I'm calling it a double because you get like 10 goals, 10 assists, and then like let's say. Get like a triple double with a plus minus of 10 or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe
throw a little basketball terminology in there.
Yeah, little basketball thrown in there. But yeah, so they got.
Don't tell that to the older hockey fans; they might have a heart attack.
Oh, that's fine. That is fine. COVID will probably get them before I do. So. Yeah, so that's pretty crazy. But just to compare that with other teams like Carolina. Has 4 players with a double, but they have like 5 guys like a point or 2 away from a double, And when you look at like the Canucks, there's like nobody close after those five guys. It's like those five guys, and then there's Quinn Hughes that only has 2 goals, and a bunch of guys that are at least like 2, 3, 4, 5 points away from even being close to a double-double, which it just shows how terrible their depth scoring is. And it kind of showed the next game after. They did beat AZ 5-1 there, but that was old Veggie Melka's first game there, and they decided to play him again because the Milkman does not miss a game, providing his services to the community of Seattle.
I love
donating 34 bottles of milk to the Kraken fans, 1 for each save.
Nice.
Lifting spirits wherever he goes.
Can I have can I throw in a stat that
to a city near you?
The Arizona Coyotes currently have their best record against the team now, as they're undefeated against the Seattle Kraken.
Nice.
As they played them twice, I believe, and won both games. So
yeah, and they took a little trick out of
who says AZ's bad.
Anton Strawman buries the game winner, doing his best impression of Vince Dunn the other day with dropping into the slot, doing a nice little toe drag, smooth backhand for the old goal. You know, Yotes 5, broken 2. That's what it's called, Seattle broken.
Yes.
I was just looking at their team, and guys not named Eberle that are right-handed. So like the guys that are like constantly on the power play trying to score goals and stuff and playing like 16 minutes half the time, some of them, like Donskoy and Yarncroke.
Just random dudes.
They have 24 goals.
Nice.
And Eberle has 12. So like that's pretty amazing. Hey, like and it's like 6 guys or 5 guys or something.
That's pretty bad.
6 guys.
That's pretty bad.
Yeah, Donskoy with like 1. The only one that's really making up for it is like Yarncroke, who's got like 7. And like, how do you not get 7 goals when you have like you're put in every literal chance? Like, I wonder. Yeah, it's rough.
Stuck up for him too. That was I think we all had him as our pick.
Bro, we stuck up for like half of these picks at the time. I hate it. Like, no, but like this is everyone in the world. Like everyone was like, no, what? Like I think Donskoy is an all right pick. And at the time we said that. We're like, because I genuinely thought Donskoy was a middle 6 winger. Like a real middle 6 winger, not a pretend one. On a good team
that they can have on a decent contract with term.
Yeah, exactly. Like you'd think they'd hit on one of these guys, not just Jared McCann, who we all knew was an amazing hockey player. It's just frustrating. Like, at least we took Jared McCann. Yeah, because Pittsburgh was gonna lose an expansion, so he traded to Toronto to be taken. Like, if he was on any other team than Pittsburgh and seemingly Toronto, he wouldn't have been picked. Like, or if Toronto had a brain and left Hall, they could have protected him. But no, that's too.
It is crazy how like literally everybody has not
gelled,
stepped up at all, like in any way, shape, or form. Like I guess Donskoy was literally just out there, and everybody else around him was so good. In Colorado, like he was just out there.
Who was Vegas's second line in their first year?
Dude, they had Eric Holla,
Neil,
Neil.
Yeah, I'd rather that line. I'd rather that line today than Seattle's first line. I think.
Oh God.
Holla being 4th line center for Boston.
No, like
Neil not playing and Perron being a superstar. Like the Perron factor makes that line better than their current line. It's embarrassing.
Yeah, they only have one line, and it's that McCann line with Eberle and Schwartz is I'm sure he hasn't played every game. I know he hasn't played every game because
he's okay, but he's not good when he's the man. Which
he's not good because he's just not there all the time. You can't rely on him. It's why St. Louis doesn't have him anymore. It's why he went to free agency. You know, he didn't get traded or something like that. Like this guy can't stay healthy. You just let him walk away because sorry man, we can't give you the money.
Well, obviously St. Louis couldn't give him the money as well, but he's a good hockey player. He's a good second line winger, but he's not when by the way, Jaden, if you don't score at least 50 points, we're fucked. Like,
yeah, but like you have to play the whole year to do that. You
well,
won't.
I understand
You
that,
can't.
but I'm not riding their season on a
Somebody
Jaden
who's
Schwartz.
Yeah, who's as a playoff team and a good team, you can't just rely on. Oh yeah, this guy will. Well, whatever. We got this guy that'll probably get hurt. Like it's such a burden. It's such a burden.
But like
anyways.
again, I feel like again this is Hackstall. I mean, we keep talking about Seattle for how long?
Yeah.
This is Hackstall and what's his dumb nuts in front office there, Francis.
Yeah, they got their plan and they're sticking to it until the team gets
Heads
better.
up, your plan sucks. Your plan sucks. Restart. Restart.
There's no plan at the start to just like this first year is going to be an anomaly and we'll just have to act like it. Like, because it has to be like you just do whatever you can the first year. I think that's the objective, not just like we're gonna set our foundation and we're just not gonna deter from it. Which is like I said, it's a way to do it. It's a way to do it, but it doesn't work.
Like it's not the end of the world to like be wrong. And I wish people would just admit it. Sometimes like, hey, yeah, we fucked up here. We're gonna change it by doing this. It's not that hard. Like you don't have to like if your plan is defense, you don't have to be like, oh well, it didn't work this year, we're gonna go straight all offense, trade away them all. I'm not saying like change your principles, tweak them. You gotta adjust as you go on to be successful. That's with anything. It's that simple. I'm not telling you to change who you are as a franchise. Tweak it to make you better. Do you want to be a better hockey team? Do you want to actually have fans that stay and believe in you to win?
Yeah,
show them a direction. Show them a direction. They will follow.
Yeah, and we've seen time and time again, Seattle sports fans are
great.
Awesome.
They're great.
So awesome.
Oh my god, their football team was so good for.
It's an epic franchise.
Like it is.
Supersonics were there. Everybody loved the
Everyone
Supersonics.
Still talks about the Supersonics coming back. Like they're apparently coming back now because they talk about it so much.
I forget that they're not in the league.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't realize they weren't in the league for a while. Like I knew that there was new teams, but like I totally forgot that they were the ones that got taken out like half of the time because like I never thought they were gonna leave.
Well,
like
exactly,
the Supersonics, what a sick name. Like
yeah, exactly. And the fan base is so like that's all. Like I'm not saying the fan base is gonna run after half of a bad season, but you gotta start tweaking your direction, guys. That's it. That's all.
You gotta get the team to for surely show up. Like they look a little dry some games, and like kind of
give
like
them a purpose to play the games. Like
that's how Vegas got through that season. Is like those moments in the game where you like kind of give up or you don't. All of a sudden get out on the next shift and like we gotta do something, like just really go balls out. Like you just don't see it out of this team. And
if Seattle
lost, it's gotta be disappointing as a fan watching. It's gotta be like
if Seattle lost every single game the rest this year, but they were competitive and all, I would not be mad. Like that's fine. You can be bad and still be an exciting team. Like Buffalo. Look at Buffalo. Fucking Arizona's fairly exciting considering how bad their team is. I mean, it also could be the intrigue of seeing that bad of an NHL team on ice, but like, no, there's a lot of teams that are down in the dumps that are happy. Yeah, exactly.
Let's be serious what Arizona is playing in the last like month or two. Like it's pretty damn good. Like
yeah, there's still a lot of behind the scene issues.
When you look at the very start of the season, like holy crap, they looked like downright going to be the worst team we've ever seen. But
yes, they did.
Like they're seeing progression out of them, and they actually look pretty good. They're staying in games. Yeah, they're still getting blown out here and there, but they're also coming back the next game, and beating Seattle, which is like, why not, man? Like it doesn't matter who you play, try to find a way to win. And didn't they like almost beat Colorado? And like
they did beat Colorado. No, they did.
So
like that's the thing. Like people are. This Arizona team is they've gotten better over the year because they've tweaked and gotten better as a hockey team. That's the goal.
That's why this is so disappointing to Seattle is that like Arizona's finding ways to win and they look pretty nice and they look as good as Seattle does. And it's like, well, what do you mean? You guys have a full roster. Four lines of straight NHL players. Like, what are you talking about?
Never in a million years should Arizona have a better development plan than you. And be this bad, right?
The way it's trending with Arizona, they're going to be better than you by the end of the year, and they just showed it in this game. Like, how's that even possible? Like, if they keep trending and doing better, obviously, if they trade Chikrin or any of these guys, they'll probably not as good, but Jesus,
I think
man,
they
like,
still might be better.
it's not like we see Seattle getting better. They don't look like they're getting any better. Like I said several times, they're not even acting like things are going wrong anymore. They're just like, it is going wrong, but like, we're gonna fight again tomorrow.
And the thing that you're
on high on pot news.
Yeah. We should probably move on, but I just gotta say one thing. I don't like how much they blame the goaltenders. Like, I understand there's been a lot of games that you can put right at Grubauer's feet. Like, yeah, you need to have done better. Yeah. But that's not a scapegoat at the same time. Just because he's having a bad season, that's not a reason that you're bad. You're bad for multiple reasons. That just happens to be the most eye-catching.
And, like, one thing about a goalie having a bad season, it has a lot to do with everybody around him.
Yep.
Is why a guy is just not doing good. So
typically defense. They can usually make that first save. It's the defense who needs to get that rebound out. So,
I remember at the start of the season, I was trying not to blame Grubauer too much because it seemed like it was like they'd give up the puck and he'd find a way to make a quick save and it wasn't too bad. But then they'd do it again and then they'd score. And like it felt like it was more timing and just weird things like that he was getting. It wasn't the right time to get that turnover and they scored or whatever, like, but he'd saved it the last time or something, like,
their turnovers were abysmal,
excuses and stuff like that, but it was more like, he wasn't great, but like the team's not doing smart enough with their plays and stuff.
Can
keep
only
it out of their net,
Team's only as good as your weakest line. Right, like you have to play every line pretty much. It's not, and when you just basketball, it's not soccer. Like you can't just we're in our crunch time.
Rely on your first line.
First team. You're gonna be tired as hell after this game, but you're gonna play the rest. Like you can't really lean on the same in hockey.
It seemed like maybe their idea was that like hopefully our bottom lines like 2 to 3 don't or 2 to 4 don't get scored on, and our first line will win us games because they will score, which like.
Or they're just naive and thought that, we're actually going to be a good team. That is totally possible because some people drank that Kool-Aid. I thought they would be in the mix, a lot better than this for sure, but I didn't think they'd be good.
Be a lot better.
So, but I thought they'd be a lot better. They are better. They should be better than this, but I wonder if Francis thinks they should have been way better than this.
Yeah.
But anyways, I think this is a good time to move off of Seattle. Anyways.
That was the slow rip. So
the very slow rip. So I'm just gonna quickly jump into my quick rips, if that's okay with you, James.
Yeah.
That was a goalie rip.
Yeah, that was just a Seattle rip, like on them. So. Let's start in Toronto with their first game back against the Carolina Hurricanes. Mrazek making his return to Carolina, which was nice, and Freddie making his return to Toronto. So a good game, overtime win for Toronto 4-3. Matthews got 2 goals in this game and hurt. Seemed a lot more worrisome than it is. I think it's only going to be a couple weeks or something like that. Jordan, do you have a better answer on that than I do for injury?
For who again? Sorry,
Matthews.
He's already.
I think he's good, eh? Yeah.
It
wasn't. I knew it wasn't as bad. I just couldn't remember if he's already back or not. But yeah, so it wasn't as bad. And Mitch Marner continues to light it up and took the reins after Matthews went down. So that was just nice to see. From a Leafs perspective, it was really, really good game to watch for opening night back as well. Moving on to my favorite game of the week, obviously, the Penguins versus the Bruins, and what a game this was. Penguins win 4-2. Crosby gets goal number 499, and Jari made 43 saves and is amazing, like so good. Holy crap. Boston was all over us this game. Pasta got 2 goals in the first. They were very good. And then shit went down when Marchand decided to be a dumbass and get suspended for 6 games after trying to punch Jari in the head and then spear him in the head with his stick.
The only thing I have to say about that is if I was the coach of the Penguins, I would be wrapping my team up other than Chris Letang. And I'd be like, all right, if this happens again, that can't happen. Because the Pens' reaction was nothing.
Pathetic. It was pathetic.
Yeah, it was pathetic. Other than Chris
Letang was okay. Yeah, Letang
was right there.
He should have been there. There's a couple guys that was like, really? Like, he tried to punch Jari. He nicked his head. It wasn't that bad. Like, neither hit in effect was that bad. It was intent, which was the bad part. He tried to punch him when he was out of the ref was in between the first time. Then the ref's holding him, and he swings his stick at the goalie. Like,
I'm immediately dropping the gloves with Marshall.
Yeah. I'm pissed that Pittsburgh. Yeah, I'm pissed Pittsburgh didn't fight him there. Or so I guess the ref's holding him. Like, do you really? You think you should
have to try?
Yeah.
You have to show them.
You gotta skate up to him and grab him and be like, "What in the fuck are you thinking?"
The number one job is to protect your goalie. That is a rule in sports with goalies.
Yeah. Now back on the Marchand of it.
I'd like to know what Jari said to Marchand.
I want to know what Jari said too, because he clearly said something.
Oh yeah, he looked right at him, and you could see that he was saying something, and it's like, oh man, I wonder.
Good at holding his tongue too, because he talks so much shit.
Yeah. Well, and earlier in the game, if you guys noticed. Jari saw a Pittsburgh fan in Boston, because this is in Boston, the game, and he picked up a puck behind the net and went to flick it over the boards for the fan, and Marchand came around and knocked the puck off his stick. Like, just, it wasn't like anything like major. It was just a little poke, right? So it was brewing from earlier too.
Nice.
And then that stuff happened, and with Marchand, I want to know what he's thinking. Like, if that's a D-man and you swing your like fist at him and shit and try and fight him, like, okay, whatever. If he's a forward, he's a defenseman, you try and fight him, whatever. First of all, you swing once to the goalie, you get away with it. Take it and go. Second of all,
you're laughing to the bank.
Don't swing your stick at anyone, because that's an instant suspension. I don't care if you miss him. Like, unless it's like the Bennington bullshit where it's like, haha, I made you look.
Yeah, dude,
like,
good thing he wears that neck guard.
Yeah, it wasn't like a hard swing. It's just, I don't know.
No, he just kind of went for the poke or whatever. But I'm just saying, like, good thing he was wearing his neck guard, because he hit his neck guard, and like the only way you're gonna actually poke him or apparently spear him in the neck is like if you don't have that neck guard. So it's a good thing he is actually one of the few, I would say, that wears that.
Yeah, no,
everybody wearing that exactly, but
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so, it was dumb.
What a game!
Idiot. Like, I bet he's like, wow, I feel like an idiot, but
yeah, he should. And I mean, not that it matters. Like, that game was intense, and it was like a playoff game, and if we match up, like, oh, that's gonna be a series. But
yeah, I'm sure he just called him a baby and said, like, buddy, like, don't cry about losing this game. Hey, like, get used to feeling like this, because like this is how you're gonna feel in the playoffs.
Oh yeah, well, wow.
You know, like,
they would choke a 2-goal lead. Boston gave up. Boston gave up a 2-goal lead, and their goaltending was amazing. Like, Swayman was so good. Like, I would be pissed too.
yeah.
So, but yeah, definitely an enticing game.
Like,
I thought Boston was gonna win. I thought Boston was gonna win that game, and I was like, I'm not even that upset. Like, there's a couple moments, like Marino had a couple of turnovers that were a little rough, and one leading to a goal, but no, it was Pittsburgh just doesn't stop. They can be down 4-0, and they're like, oh, we still got this with 10 minutes left. Actually, it's like, what? And so it's just that mentality of never giving up,
man.
Cough, something the Leafs should learn better.
Cough. What I've been talking about with Seattle and like
cough. All the Canadian teams.
It's like Vegas came into the league and woke everybody up. Like, you can just try your ass off, guys,
and
like,
win. You can will your way to anything if you're all on the same page.
Yeah, like it's a real thing. It's how people win Stanley Cups, I think.
Yeah, for sure. I just want to talk about 2 more games quickly here. So got the Vegas Edmonton game I want to talk about. Don't really have to bring up too much about this, other than the fact that Vegas won 4-0, and Mike Smith, I think this was his first game back from his injury, actually, and not the best game, but Vegas was just better. They were just better for the most part, honestly. I don't know. And then I don't really gotta say much, but basically is leading into the game after playing Chicago, where they lose 4-1, and this is where the problem hit, as Mike Smith played again, a back-to-back game for Mike Smith where he led in 4 goals. And we thought Koskinen was playing bad, which is surprisingly worse. Like, Koskinen's been worse than this. Starting with Chicago, DeBrincat and Strome have been really, really good. Like, DeBrincat has been fantastic this year. The past few weeks, Dylan Strome has really stepped it up and earned his spot on the Chicago roster right now. So I'm happy that he's starting to play well in the league, especially Chicago. Like, we've seen this from him. He's talented and smart. He doesn't try hard enough sometimes.
Find a way to use him or something. Like, yeah.
But this game, Fleury was outstanding, and Edmonton couldn't buy a goal. They couldn't buy a goal. That Draisaitl goal should have been the easiest goal in the world, and they worked so hard to get that. It was an empty net tap in, but it wouldn't go in. They hit the post 4 times, like, and then their offense just started giving up. Draisaitl stopped skating as hard. Same with McDavid. And the biggest story that comes out of it is what came up this morning is the Edmonton Oilers fired Dave Tippett.
The old Marc-Andre Fleury really showing how much difference a flower could make in Edmonton.
Fleury is just killing coaches left and right after season. First Babcock in Toronto, now Tippett in Edmonton, just killing these Canadian teams.
Yeah, no, that's pretty crazy. The old Tippett. Do we want to talk about that?
Yeah, I do. Perfect segue into that. I was so surprised. The man taking over, by the way, is Jay Woodcroft, who was the head coach in Bakersfield for the Oilers AHL team.
Oh, yeah.
He's really good, apparently. There's a lot of teams that were interested in potentially looking at him if a coach moved on or something like that. So, to call up. So, I'm intrigued to see how he does, but what do you guys think of firing Tippett, especially after Holland came out and said, a month ago, he's not firing Tippett?
Yeah, and I actually heard.
And I believed it, actually.
Yeah, and I actually
things didn't improve.
Yeah.
From what I understand, they came out and said that they were actually close to firing him. So, like, that is what Kenny Holland believes and how he's been for like ever, man. But situations got worse and worse. Like, he at that time when they asked, exactly like a month ago, it was not looking good. But I'm sure ever since then it was kind of like, we almost have to consider this because, like,
I think the media talked a little bit of thought into it for sure. Big time.
Well, you can't keep a two-faced team, man. This is Harvey Dent you're dealing with here. Like, this is two faces. Like, who's coming out today? You know, like, we just saw them not score a goal for Mike Smith for 2 games. And they scored like fucking 5 goals for like 3 or 4 or 5 games in a row before that. So who are you and why are you?
For McDavid to finally get a head coach that stays. So they hired Jay Woodcroft as their new head coach. So I hoped he ends up working out.
Yeah, like I said, he was the Bakersfield head coach and everything, and he looks like he's really good. He worked with a lot of these young guys on the team. They're kind of in the fold, Bouchard, Mccloud, stuff like that. So hopefully he can take them over. And I don't know. I really don't know right now.
Does that mean they're a little bit more, like, maybe they're a lot more serious than I think they should?
They are. I would be. How old's McDavid? 26?
I don't think so.
25 at least, something like that, like 25 to 27ish. Like, he's in that range. McDavid's 25. McDavid's 25. He has been to playoffs twice.
It's not so old though.
But Chase twice. Like, I
want it now. Like I just said earlier in the podcast, like, look at this New Jersey team. They actually have like real system of players and like things happening that they could like trade for a good player. And
doesn't matter. You have the best player in the world. You are a playoff
close
team.
To anything of being a full actual team,
but that's the point. Like, nobody's been able to do it. Nobody's been able to quick turn them around. Nobody's been able to draft anyone properly. Nobody's been able to do this and that. And McDavid's 25, been to playoffs twice, and been to the second round once.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe they feel good. Maybe because, like, I think he came in to help grow this team, kind of get like more of a foundation going for the team. for like coaching wise, and maybe they're just done with that now. Maybe they're like, okay, yeah, it's time to like bring somebody in who's gonna actually be here forever.
If that's your plan to
like,
bring in that
actual
expensive of a coach, that's your plan to bring in a coach with that big of a paycheck, you're idiots. As owners, as a GM, as everything. You need someone who's going to come in, gel, and stick. You don't want someone, we're going to groom for half a season while McDavid's in his prime, and then we're going to move on to the right coach. Find the fucking right coach. I know it's easier said than done.
But they hired Tippett like a lot, like a year or 2 years ago, didn't they?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, it's definitely pretty crazy that Kenny actually broke his rule, because he doesn't break very many of his rules. It's probably the best thing for the team. They need to, like I said, it's a two-faced team. They gotta actually find a way to get this team like working well continually. Not like
I agree. This team's awful, frankly. Like, let's just call a spade. Like, the way they're playing and stuff, defensively, they're awful. Goaltending-wise, they're awful. Holland refuses to make a deal, seemingly. And when he does, he trades for Athanasiou for everything in your draft picks. Like, I do not see this going well for Edmonton. I will tell you that right now anymore. I thought they'd be able to turn around because they have Leon and McDavid. Cap-wise, they can't make it work because Holland fucked them with a lot of these deals. They have $25 million this offseason in cap space. They have none now. And a bad team.
I don't know if it's a bad team there, but I'm not gonna say they're just screwed now. Like, are you saying they're just not gonna make the playoffs?
They might not make the playoffs. That's realistic. The Kings right now are better. The Anaheim Ducks are better. The Calgary Flames are better. The Vegas Golden Knights are better. Like, Vancouver's been playing better lately. I have faith in 5 teams ahead of them. So
after this happening, are you jumping off the Oilers or what? Because like you guys had them at like the last wild card spot. So like
I did have them at last wild card spot.
Thin straw to take them out. So
yeah, I was on a very thin straw, and I take them out now. I put Anaheim in over them after this Tippett. There's nothing in this team. I don't believe in this team at all anywhere except for McDavid and Leon. Like, they have no cap space to make anything work. Half the people don't try. This defense sucks so bad. Their goaltending's even worse somehow. I don't see how you turn it around when other teams are so much better. Like, you might squeeze in if you're lucky. And that's, like, they're still going to be in the mix. I don't have them in playoffs, though, now.
Yeah, that's pretty intense. I don't know if I'll go that far, man.
But, like, going that far is me dropping them, like, by 5 points, maybe, in the season. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't.
She's a dicey situation, but yeah, hopefully this other AHL coach can get something going here. I wonder if they're looking. Did they say anything about? Like, I just saw that this morning. So
yeah, I'm not sure. But like 20 minutes before the podcast, it was announced that they fired Dave Tippett, and
yeah, exactly. So
this is very fresh. Like, this is us pretty reacting fresh off it. Obviously, we haven't seen a press conference or anything yet. So, like, obviously, like, things could change for me in a week very quick, where I'm like, hey, maybe Edmonton will still be in that last wild card. I think they're in a wild card is the best position at bare minimum. But
like, this was his third season, Tippett's third season here. So I can kind of understand that. Like, he's been here for a couple of years. Like I said, I feel like he was here to bring more of a foundation and kind of get them going in a certain direction. And now he's more of like a growing sort of guy. Works well. Like, he's not the cup guy. Like, that's what I always struggle with that decision of picking him up. Is I didn't see him as a Stanley Cup coach.
But
is why they brought him in.
But so fair. I don't know. Okay, that's fair. I can agree with that. But
like, I don't think it's gonna kill him, because like I don't think he was the guy to push them over the edge. Anyways, I think the team needed a little bit of help and a little bit more time with like your Bouchards and stuff like that. Like, now they got Bouchard and Mccloud doing some stuff. Maybe you can bring that AHL coach in. He's worked with those guys quite a bit. and maybe he can lift some of these guys up a little bit more. Knows how to use them and when to use them. Those players trust him. Maybe that's what this team needs because they need help on depth. And yeah, I'm just not as worried at all. I think this could be a good thing actually.
My issue is with the Tippett of it all is it's fine to get rid of Tippett if he doesn't work and stuff, and I agree, but it's the fact that you had to fire him mid-season. The team's bad.
Yeah, that's never
Tippett has never been so bad of a coach where he was getting a lot out of him, but when they get scored on like that all the time, it's 4 goals or more that they let in. Every game. You can't realistically try and win. The Leafs tried it for how long in the mid?
Well, isn't it like kind of why Paul Maurice left, right? Like he was like, I can't get this team to I don't know what it is. I just show up the next day and we're just not that team anymore. I don't know what to do anymore.
And that's what I think in Edmonton. I think this team in Edmonton is not the team that can get them anywhere. I think Holland made a bad team with bringing in Keith, CC, all that. This off season was terrible.
Ooh, yeah. It wasn't like
it was terrible.
Like amazing players, but
they spent $15 million on dead weight.
Yeah,
that's it. That's bad.
Holland way.
That's bad. Holland way. It doesn't. Yeah, I just. That's how they get better. You get rid of Holland. I don't like Holland. That's my issue with this team.
Yeah,
I don't trust Holland anymore. Like.
Yeah, I felt that for like 10 years.
Yeah, like he was a good coach when there was no salary cap. Or sorry, GM. That's what I meant. He was a good GM when there was no salary cap.
And when he had like the coolest guy in the world and Steve Yzerman.
Yeah, exactly.
Sergei Fedorov and like
the best players in all time. Yeah, in the
players
season.
That like people actually wanted to go there from Europe and Swedish connections. Like exactly. That's why you guys kept going and how you kept doing. There's who found Zetterberg and Datsuk. That's who did everything for Kenny Holland.
Yeah, no
reality.
100% agree. So, anyways, that's all I got on the Oilers. I know we kind of just ripped them pretty much the whole time, but fuck, I think it's deserved. Other than Chase defended you fairly.
I gave you some positivity. This might help your like.
Yeah, no, I'm not
used to be AHL guys. Actually,
I'm not saying that this coach.
In the NHL.
By the way, I want to clarify too. I'm not saying this coach won't work. I'm not saying that Jay Woodcross is a terrible option. Blah, blah, blah. I don't like that they're like, we trust in Dave Tippett. He's going to be our guy. He will get us to playoffs no matter what, at least. Right? Mm. It's the same with Boudreau in Vancouver. At least he'll make us win games and play better. They didn't because they're a bad team, but they keep saying, nope, now they just blamed it on the coach. It's not the coach's fault why this team is bad. It's probably a factor in some cases, but I wanted to say the real reason is their defensive goaltending. So, anyways, let's move on to Jordan's. Why don't you do your quick rips and and then just slide into your in-depth right after too. And
alrighty, to start with, we'll do Dallas and the Predators. The Stars win 4-3. Robertson has a hell of a game. Jake Ottinger has a hell of a game. But the most important thing about this game, Ottinger's helmet has a customization. If you don't know, he has an otter on his helmet. Now that otter has
why. Oh, a cowboy hat on. Nice.
Yeah, he put a cowboy hat on the otter.
Nice.
And that nice. He won, so it's good luck cowboy hat. That's my opinion.
That's amazing. Hell yeah, man. Hell yeah. Yeah, no, RoboCop.
The next game I got is the Red Wings. 6-3 over Philadelphia. It was a very physical game, as was the Dallas game. That was extremely physical. But the big thing I've got here is a very crazy fact. It was Detroit's first regular season win in regulation time in Philadelphia since January 1997.
Wow.
Wow.
Wow. That's insane.
Isn't that nuts?
Yeah,
it's
that's
the fucking 90s.
Holy shit.
Yeah, Philly is not a place to go play. I don't see why anybody would be excited to go play in Philadelphia or play Philadelphia. Don't even show up to those games, right?
Okay.
That's pretty crazy. You said 97?
97. The record for the Flyers is 16-1 in their previous 17 home games against the Red Wings.
Wow.
That's awesome. Yeah. The old bullies, eh? I don't like it, I guess, the old Wings.
Now Sider leads the NHL in rookie defenseman points.
Oh, buddy, was he just nasty? God, he's just dangling around while the whole team changes. He's just skating around the ice.
Yeah.
So gross. So just hilarious, man. How impactful he is on that team.
So good, man.
I will say for the Flyers, Brassard looked decent coming back from injury.
Yeah, well, someone has to in that team.
Yeah, you can't all
Can't all be
look pretty
dead
shit.
weight. So, yeah. Anything else? Any other games to move on?
No, that was it for my reps.
All right, and then do you want to dive into your in-depth one quickly then while you're on it?
Yeah, I've got the Calgary Flames absolutely stonewalling Vegas 6-0.
Yeah, definitely. Markstrom's 8th shutout.
Yeah, he made 28 saves as well.
Yeah, very good game.
Which is a fantastic performance.
That's ridiculous. 8 saves or 8 shutouts. Oh my goodness.
Michael Backlund had his career high 4 points.
Yep.
Kachuk scored a sick between the legs goal. I don't know if you guys saw that.
Again. That's his 6th in the NHL.
It is so sexy.
Like, oh my god, he scores one every year at least twice, I swear. He's so good. Worth noting too, sorry to jump in, but this was a back-to-back game for Vegas. So if you're wondering why they kind of looked a little slower, probably a big reason why. This is kind of a scheduled loss for Vegas.
Yep, they beat the Oilers 4-0 on Tuesday.
Like I mentioned previous there. So, but yeah, no, Flames offense was just flying out there. So much fun passes. They were so creative. Backlund is, I love how like he's just not good enough to be a second line center, but it works for Calgary.
Yeah,
like I don't understand it. He's had such a good year under Sutter. He's reinvigorated his career at age. How old is Backlund? 33?
30s, I think 32 or 33.
Yeah, like it's just impressive. I've been really impressed with him. And well, when you play Monahan on the 3rd or 4th line, I guess.
Yeah.
Slide him up,
30,
makes 32. So yeah,
32 at the moment. Yeah,
he's pretty sweet.
He's a defense
he's a defensive center.
Yeah, like your second line center can be a defensive center. That's fine. You just got to have a third line, like a real third line. And they not only have that, but they have a trusty 4th line with Ruzicka and Lucic there.
Hell yeah.
Well, Ruzicka's been there lately.
Lucic has had a year too. He's been so good. So good.
Yeah, Trevor Lewis, Brett Ritchie, like they've been
they're
doing the job. You don't have to do too much down there.
This is the real team in Alberta. That's what I'm talking
Extremely sad news if you're a Flames fan. Lucic has come out and said he won't be doing any Michigans.
He did?
So I don't know if that's
what the hell?
I don't know if that's just something that a guy who's gonna pull off a Michigan says.
He's just saying that to keep the goalie's shoulders lower.
Yeah, exactly. He's keeping them on their toes.
Nobody will see it coming.
Yeah, so maybe keep your eye out. Otherwise, tough blow. No Lucic Michigans.
If Lucic scores a Michigan in the NHL before his career is done, I will give $250 gift card away on this podcast.
200 million.
I want to say an answer. Pinky to the mouth.
The old cardboard big check. You just got to go to a big bank.
I'll give you some IOUs for $20 million. No, that would be insane.
Considerations.
Yeah, give you future considerations about Lucic's value. But anyways, should we dive into our second segment, guys? Since we all kind of got in our. Unless Chase, you want to talk about one more game quickly, even though you had a.
Yeah, actually, I could just bring up I'll go a little bit in depth on the Dallas game. It won't take very long.
Go like half in depth with.
Yeah, I got something wrote down, so I'll just rip that up. I'll give you the nice swing through what happened in that game. So, opening 3 goals, showing great net front presence, but really, honestly, no surprise there out of those teams, especially Dallas, because it's either Pavelski or it's left-handed Pavelski, Jason Robertson. As Jordan mentioned earlier, 2 goals, got 2 tip-ins. What was the other goal? The third goal for Nashville got was Tolvanen there. Through a screen, unreal screen. Just so squeezes it through. Goalie couldn't see shit. And that's number 7 for Tolvanen.
Robertson was tipping in off of Klingberg. Klingberg was he was talking about Robertson after the game, and he was just saying how fucking smart Robertson is. Like, everybody will be getting covered, and then Robertson will just be wide open. He's so sneaky at making him in the right spots.
Yeah. I think he's learning very well from Pavelski, because he's just madness in front of that net. It's insane,
especially with how Pavelski's playing this year.
Yeah. So when you have 2 guys that can do that, like, exactly. How do you know you're watching? Pavelski is going in front of the net or something. Robertson sneaks or something. Hey,
Roope Hintz is so fucking fast.
Yeah.
And he's so clean with the puck. It's really hard. They're such a clever line.
Mm-hmm. No doubt. Sneaky is what they do, because they got 3 goals in that game. That's 19 for Robertson, and Matty Duchene and Roope Hintz decided to come out with a little bit of nastiness with a couple dirty goals. That's 21 for Roope, 22 for Matt Duchene. Hey, wow. That's epic. So basically, how'd that go? So Duchene and Hintz decided to show some nasty hands, and that was 3 goals in less than 2 minutes. It was insane how fast that happened. And then just before the end of the period, Colton Sissons wins the draw with like 18 seconds left, and Ekholm with like a dirty drop pass to Yossi and drops in and crashes the net. Everybody else does. Trennan jams it home. Like 8 seconds left in the second to tie it up.
Yeah.
But cue the inspirational music as Luke Glendening, in true Red Wing fashion, turns the puck over in the D zone, joins the rush, and scores the game winner from a smooth raffle pass. Nice. And that's a 4-3 done deal Stars win.
Love it. Love to see it.
Though Forsberg had like 1T at like dying seconds that like just so missed the net. It was fucking close. Almost tied her up, old Nashville. But yeah, no, that was a good playoff game. I got those guys as my first and second wildcard team. So it was a super good matchup that I was looking so forward to watching. And it did not disappoint. Not at all. But that's all I got.
Nice. Good shit, boys. So that's our in-depth review of some games. Like I said, really good games happening this week, or this past week. There was, at least. Hopefully we'll continue the trend for a little bit. But should we get into our first segment, boys? Our hot take segment.
Yeah.
Cool. I'm very intrigued with this one. This one you might see reappear here and there. Just when we want to debate some stuff, we're going to throw, obviously it's pretty self-explanatory, hot takes out there where that we think will happen, and we're going to defend them, and I'm going to make fun of everyone else's hot takes except mine. So who wants to start it off? Jordan, do you have yours up and ready?
Yeah, I'll kick it.
Kick it off with your first one.
My first one is the Toronto Maple Leafs are not only going to win the first round, but they're also going to win the second round in the playoffs.
That is pretty controversial, I would say, since, they can't do that. No, it'd make it even better if you said they won both in Game 7s, because they can't win Game 7s either.
No, I'm assuming the prediction is they avoid the Game 7s.
Yeah.
First is gonna break. I think they're gonna win a round. Not only that, but I peg them to win 2 rounds.
Yeah,
This year, it wouldn't surprise me.
it wouldn't surprise me. I like them. Like it's not like it's a hot take because it's like until it happens, it's
yeah.
not,
It's been
right?
several years of just getting their face punched in. So
team do that before, so
yeah.
let alone a round like one single round.
No, I wonder if it'd be a hotter take if someone said they're gonna trade for someone really big at the deadline and lose first round again. I wonder if that's bigger than saying they win 2 rounds, right? Like
if you were to say that, apparently that is Giordano, because apparently he wants to go to Calgary or Toronto.
That makes a lot of sense, actually.
He said he wants to play with TJ, or he.
Oh, that makes so much sense to go to Toronto. Wow. Yeah, I didn't think of that. I never even thought of the Leafs as a team for him. That'd be a good depth option.
May once again get stuck into this giving up their first round pick.
Yeah. I wouldn't give a first for Gio, but that's okay.
I know. Hey, you gotta wonder what's gonna happen.
That'll be intriguing. I'm very
excited. The funny thing is that, like, if that's what he actually said, and there's 2 teams on the table, like, one, Calgary probably won't pull it off unless they really are okay with swapping him for Zadorov.
Yeah.
But other than that, like, there's 2 teams in the mix. Like, you're not getting a first round pick now.
Right.
It doesn't matter how much you retain. There's 2 guys in the mix.
Yeah.
Like, they'll say no.
Yeah, exactly.
No.
Right.
No. The other guy's like, yeah, I also don't want to give up my first round pick.
No, exactly.
Like, okay, well.
So as long as everyone else says no, then they might go in for less. But yeah, no, that's an interesting hot take because it's for sure like, I mean, like we said, they haven't won yet. So until they do that, it's not good.
I'll point out one last thing on that is the fact that I'm scared about that actually happening only because they look like the same sort of team when it comes to getting to overtime. They love being able to get to overtime and winning in the regular season, but that is not
how last year in the playoffs.
That overtime is not. That's what I'm getting at. Is like that overtime is not
3
what
on
happens
3.
in the playoffs.
It's not 3 on 3, right? Like,
yeah,
there's a big difference between that for them. So.
That's what I'm most worried about because they seem to get stuck in getting pushed to overtime or giving up goals and getting to overtime. And like, if teams can do that to you, well, they can
win in overtime. Yeah.
So
all I gotta do is put my life on the line for 1 goal. I can do that in the playoffs. Like, as a hockey player, like, who couldn't do that? So, yeah, no, I agree.
That'd be my biggest concern with them.
Absolutely. I'm going to jump in with mine now then. Mine's kind of like a mixed parter with it, but it's kind of a series of events that happens as the hot take. So first, you guys already know it because I kind of already mentioned it. The Oilers missed the playoffs. 2, Vegas wins the Stanley Cup.
Nice.
Not a hot take yet. Number 3, Jack Eichel wins the Conn Smythe Trophy in his first year with the Vegas Golden Knights, scoring like 35 points in the playoffs, going absolutely ballistic with this team. Him and Mark Stone linking up. Then it gets worse. McDavid asked for a trade, seeing how well it goes for Eichel, winning the cup in his first year after traded out of Buffalo and winning or taking a lead in the Eichel-McDavid saga. So a bit of a Cinderella, not a Cinderella story, I guess, but a very devastating story for Oilers fans. But basically, Oilers miss playoffs. Vegas and Eichel wins the cup in the Conn Smythe, and because of that, McDavid and their season, obviously, McDavid asked for a trade out of Edmonton.
That'd be like worst case scenario.
Oh yeah, I said I wanted to go bold and something that could happen. We've been asking for a couple of years if McDavid will ask for a trade. Deep down, I don't think McDavid will ask for a trade. I don't think he's that type of person to ask for a trade. I just don't think he could bring himself to go to the head office and be like, yeah, I want out. But, I wanted to go absolutely blow up for it. He's 25, not made any noise, and he missed the playoffs again. If anything would push him out of Edmonton, it might be that. So, what do you guys think? Obviously, it's pretty outlandish, but it's supposed to be.
I like the first part of Eichel. I like the first part of Vegas winning because like that wouldn't really truly surprise me.
No,
but Eichel being the most epic, I don't know about that, but it's not like he won't be a huge piece of them winning if they win.
Yep. Nope. Hence, right? Like it's a hot
Like
take. Trying to go with the most.
He would
extreme.
be at least if they win the cup, he'd be at least in the top 5 of Vegas guys.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Winning that, if not the top 3, because there'd be Stone, him, and
I'm
Petro,
also looking. You'll start remember too. This is a hot take. I'm looking for the grandest storyline I can find with this. I want the best outcome, and the mix between the Eichel and McDavid just makes the cut so much deeper for McDavid that if Eichel wins Conn Smythe and carries Vegas. Imagine that being wow, I just need to go to a team who's not Edmonton or Buffalo and I can lead this team. A team that's already got a foundation. I just need to step in and do my thing. That's what Eichel might do, right? So it's like I said, it's outlandish. I know it is. It's supposed to be. I hope Oilers fans are what the fuck?
Yeah, I want Vegas to win so bad, man. Just as an FU to all these teams that just hang out. It's more of an FU to NFL franchises and NBA franchises that just clearly do not try to be good teams. They're just we're here. We have a good enough fan base straight up to get by. We don't actually need to, because I can't really say that too much about the NHL, because if you don't actually have a good team, you won't have enough people in the building, and it's not good news.
Well, look at
Florida.
Look at the Panthers. Fan base, but look at the Panthers, right? They are full right now because they're killing it. How long were we making Panthers jokes that nobody's there? Barkov made a joke at the awards 2 years ago saying that there's no fans in the building.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. I know this is, like I said, I know it's outlandish, but it's supposed to be.
But yeah, I guess in all reality, hey, you got that little thing triggering a guy. It's ooh, geez.
Right, it's the tie-in with each other. It's all weaved together with Vegas winning affects Oilers because that's their conference, for one. They missed playoffs, and Eichel and McDavid won too. It's the Crosby Ovi debate, but this generation's is what trying people make. So
yeah, trade him for Stützle.
Yeah, exactly.
A three-way
right?
trade with Stützle and Mo Seider. Get all the German boys together on Edmonton. Let's go.
Yeah, because that's what you want, Detroit.
Thomas Gray.
What, Detroit gets a bag of pucks or something?
Thomas Gray, starting goalie.
Yeah.
Next year.
Sign Florian Elias as your first line left winger with
get some
with Draisaitl and but yeah.
Frederick Tiffels, how many more German guys can I go do?
We could go really far back. Marcel Gock.
Oh yeah, buddy.
Dustin Wolf.
Stearns,
no,
all the Sturm,
Marco Sturm. Yeah.
Sturm.
Oh yeah, but yeah.
Other than I guess Nico Sturm's in the league right now.
Yeah,
he's not German. So.
But anyways, Chase, what do you got for us here for your?
Well, I've got a little bit more of an immediate future watch. I'm going with Claude Giroux gets traded to the Colorado Avalanche.
Not very
right
hot
now.
Take.
What? Come on,
not hot take at all.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying is gonna happen.
Yeah, I know, but the segment's hot.
He could
take.
go to several teams. What are you talking about?
He's gonna go to several. Colorado's the favorite. What are you talking about, my guy?
What do you mean? Anybody could be the favorite.
I mean, it's good for it's good. Like you said, it's good future watch, but that is not hot whatsoever.
That's so hot.
That is cold as fucking Saskatchewan, man.
Yeah, it's a lukewarm take.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm going with. That's what I'm going with. Yeah. Going with something lukewarm. That is my hot
you
take.
are so boring.
Yep. And that's what you're getting today.
Fair enough. Oh my god. Well, and Jordan, do you got your other hot take for us?
I do.
All right, what do you got for us?
All right, here we go. Yaroslav Halak will not play another game in the NHL.
Ooh.
Wowie.
Oh, that's pretty crazy that he'd never play a game. Ooh.
Is he hurt or something?
No, he's been dog shit.
Are you saying he legit will never play another game? Are you just saying metaphor?
Okay,
are you saying will he play 5 more games in the rest of his career or something?
NHL season. not because of like injury or age, but simply because I don't think he's good enough.
Yeah, I want to agree with that. It's pretty crazy to say because like he's so experienced. It's like surely one team would give him a chance, you'd think, but I don't know. Chase, what do you think? It's a hot take for sure because for him not to play again at all after next year and it not be his choice.
Oh, like after this year?
Yeah, I would say.
Oh.
Well, I would say like
okay.
Maybe for what like?
Are you saying like right now, or are you saying after?
Let's say he will not play more than another 5 games because that's probably a. Because I think he'll play more.
I'm asking Jordan. Is he saying now or?
Yeah. Do you want to say now, end of the year? What are you saying?
I'll say end of the year. I think after the season is done.
Yeah, I could see him not playing, but I could also see a team giving a contract.
No, I don't think so. Not at all. I think he'll play for sure.
Yeah.
In the NHL, I think so, but I wouldn't be surprised if he didn't. Honestly, I don't think it's that outlandish or something to say. He could just.
It's definitely something to contemplate, though, because you're right. He's been pretty bad this year. Demko's had to bear all the load, pretty much, and. Yeah, I'm agree with you. I'm gonna agree with you. Chase doesn't. I'm gonna agree with you that Halak will never play in the NHL because just Boston keeps sinking, just like Tuukka, just like Halak, the team, everything. Marchand apparently for 6 games, but no. I'll jump in with mine. Mine's not too crazy. I guess it could be pretty crazy. They're still pretty far points out. I'm gonna have something wild happen at the draft in Philadelphia. Jump up into a top 2 draft position somehow. Whether they lose the rest of the year and get there themselves, or they jump up in the draft, I don't know. I just have a.
Oh, I got a good one for the draft.
Sneaky one for Philly to get in the top 2 pick, one of the first 2.
Yeah. I'll give you one. The old Arizona Coyotes trade for one of Columbus's 2 first-round picks.
Yeah.
100%. I think that's guaranteeingly happening because they have.
It's guaranteed happen. But...
They have CBJ's. Well, I guess you never know what they do. Like I can.
What if Columbus later, jumps up right and both of theirs?
Yeah, exactly. Because they got Chicago and their own, and right now, I guess off of my
trading for Columbus would make a lot of sense.
It's like. It's pretty, what is it, like 6 and 10 is technically where I have them right now. So those would be pretty gross picks. And AZ will have like a top one. So in all reality, they could, I wonder if something crazy would happen where they'd like trade down and take both of their picks and
for sure
some other stuff. And I don't know, I'll get into it later, but I do think but I'm going with Arizona as trading for one of those Columbus picks.
Yep, fair enough.
But,
what do you think of those
scared
two?
I'm scared of Philly jumping up, but I think it'll be the opposite way. I think Philly will drop if anything happens.
That would be funny.
I'd be mad to see them jump up again another.
And
like
that's exactly what I think would happen. Is something stupid like they're gonna suck so bad, get to like maybe 28th, 29th overall, and then jump up 2 more spots just to be dicks. Like
yeah, I feel you.
Right? Like that would kill me, especially being a Pens fan. But Jordan, what do you think of? Yeah, that's true. Maybe I'll laugh again. But Jordan, what did you think of both of our hot takes? I guess there.
Yeah, no, I definitely think they're possible, and I definitely think Philly's in a position where they should do that.
Yeah, well, if they can make it by themselves lower, then absolutely, right? It's just so hard when you got like Carter Hart still. Like you have a goalie. Yeah. Who's gonna steal you games regardless here and there. I know it doesn't seems very few and far from between, but I think you would eventually. But no. Do you guys have any more hot takes, comments, anything to do with it?
No, I don't.
No.
Cool. We'll move on then. Let's just go through some of the news around the league, and then we'll get some Arizona talk here. Let's start in a bit of Montreal here, because lots happening. Let's start with the good news first. I guess it's both good news, but they're allowed 50% capacity as of February 21st, so they'll be starting to make a little bit more money again, which is nice for them and the NHL in whole. But obviously, we know the big news isn't that they're getting 50% capacity back. It's the fact that they finally fired Dominic Ducharme and hired Martin St. Louis as the interim head coach.
The nostalgia that gives me is amazing.
Yeah, the shock. I'm not shocked they fired Ducharme because I've been asking this. You guys know how much I dislike Ducharme. I was saying Luke Richards is a better coach than him. Like, yeah, you guys all know how I feel about him. I just didn't think it'd be now because.
Yeah, like they're trending in like a losing scenario. Like, isn't that what you want?
It's good for this year. You like they want Shane Wright at this point. Like you want Shane Wright.
Yeah, exactly.
But what do
the one thing I want to say about this is like I think St. Louis is like a perfect guy for certain guys on this team. Like I think
offensive guys,
literally
like Suzuki and Caulfield, they're gonna love him.
Like literally, he is what Caulfield and Suzuki need to be. Like if there's somebody that they need to aspire to play like and be like and like just kind of conduct themselves like, it's Martin St. Louis being a small guy. Like I think he hopefully helps Caulfield. Yeah, man, he is the small guy coming out of the weeds, not supposed to make it, not supposed to play and stuff like that. And that is how those kids feel probably right now. So if he at least helps them, I think it was a good hire. I don't know if this is like a long-term hire. This is like his first job.
This is his first real head coaching job. Yeah,
like,
he was an assistant coach. Oh, go for it.
He was for an under 13 team.
Yeah, he coached his son. Well, but he also did. Well, he also coached power play coach for Columbus.
Yeah, special teams or consultant apparently. So.
Yes, he was a consultant for the Columbus's power play or whatever.
When old Johnny Tortorella was there, so like, he has some ties with him. You got to wonder maybe he's going to be a little bit more hard nosed and
maybe a little bit
intense. Maybe it'll be a good change for them. Maybe they just need somebody to kind of scream at them and. In a different voice.
Well, for sure. And a couple of things just going around what people are saying. Like Tortorella came out and said that Montreal is going to love him as a coach. He's an awesome guy, obviously. No surprise he'd say that, being he was with him for how long?
Yeah, exactly.
In his career. So St. Louis basically said when he comes in, he just wants respect, just wants instant respect from Canadians, and the Canadians just need to have fun again, was his main quote from the press conference, saying just that. They need to start having fun playing hockey again and playing meaningful games. And that in that aspect, this makes complete sense. I wonder if this is more of a mental change for the players than anything. Here's a guy who's going to be a feel-good story coming in, make you feel good about playing the game again, happy to play. Respected, very respected in the league, especially with what he had to go through with his height and everything, and
how good he was,
exactly. And that's why I'm saying like how good he was, and still got discriminated by his height and size and weight. Like, it's just perfect. Like Jay said, it's perfect. Caulfield, like Caulfield is this generation, seemingly St. Louis. It looks like obviously he was drafted, but super young, skilled forward, like. You see a lot of parallels, right? So I love it. Hopefully Canadians can trend in a happy direction, because like as crazy as it is, the league's probably in a better place when the Habs are in a better place. As bad as it is to say, those teams really do wonders for the league.
This one confuses me. Like, why did you do this? Like, why did you?
It's just now.
That doesn't even make any sense.
Yeah, and Ducharme, why did you?
Yeah, he was not good. Like, the team wasn't even listening to him in the playoffs. Like, it was Shea Weber doing the coaching.
Shea Weber was coaching. Luke Richards was doing more as an intern for the 4 games he interned than Ducharme did all the playoffs. Like, it was.
I don't know why they.
I don't know either.
If they were planning on firing what they were going to do. Like, I'm
but you'll start remember.
Bergevin was smart, and he set this up to just fail, because then you could get like a Shane Wright and actually get a top pick, because that's the only way you can do it is if you just randomly fail one year. Because if you you just get too much high expectations and stuff like that.
It's so funny you bring that up because people are throwing galaxy brains out there with Bergevin and saying that he made Montreal bad on purpose so that he could
why would you
have an
sign
excuse
Mike
to
Hoffman
leave.
4 years?
Well, and he signs in LA when who else does? His favorite center from the Stanley Cup.
Yeah,
previous, right? So like, there's a lot of like jokes going on about that, but yeah, the reason he's fired, like, easy reason, the new GM came in and said, yeah, I agree with this coach should not be here, and he made his own decision. Like, I'm not super surprised. I think it could have waited if you really wanted to, but
that's
true. New GM needs to make a new stamp on the team, right? He's got to hire his guy, I guess, is what everyone says. So
indeed.
But anyways, do you guys have anything else you want to add on the Canadians, their coaching change, anything like that?
No, just really hope that works for those young guys, those small guys, because it's literally like what, like you're like looking at a crystal ball and you're just like, I need like the perfect person to help these super small kids in the NHL. It's Martin St. Louis, like that's the guy. Like who cares what happens with the rest of the team? He could know nothing and not help him anyway.
Yeah,
if he helps us young too, that's all this team needs right now.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah.
For sure. Moving on to the next team, we got the Tampa Bay Lightning signing a extension on their forward, Patty Maroon, as Patrick Maroon inks a 2-year, $1 million AAV extension with the Lightning.
We got
stay in there for forever. Yeah, couple more down in St. Louis as well. We got a bit of Logan Brown on a 1-year, $750K, and Robert Bertuzzo, a 2-year, $950K AAV. And not just players in St. Louis are signing, as well as Craig Berube, their head coach, signs a 3-year extension. What are your guys' thoughts on the 4 extensions? Let's start in Tampa Bay with the Maroon. We don't have to go too long in it, but what are your one-line thoughts on Maroon?
I love it. I mean, Tampa needs that kind of grit, and he's the exact definition of it.
He's found his home, finally. Like, Maroon,
getting a payday.
He's getting paid. That
he gets the payday.
Fans in Tampa love Maroon.
Yeah,
well.
why wouldn't you? Right, 3-time Cup winner in a row, 2-time with your team, like amazing. Moving down to the St. Louis of it all, though, Logan Brown, the 1-year, $750K. This looks just like show me again next year. Like
like he's proven a contract next year. Like you're interesting enough to like. Let's see what you do.
Let's see what you got in for a year and a half from now. We can your evaluation period just extended, so which is nice. And then Bertuzzo, what did you guys think?
He is the epitome of your sixth D man. He is perfect. Yeah, everything you could ever ask for.
Just a great
to get him under a mil. It's pretty awesome. Like
absolutely.
Yeah. It's obviously like not amazing, and he's not anything great.
And none of these signings are. They're depth signings, but
he's one of those just perfect key guys.
Hey, whoever fits, right? Like, there's lots and lots of players out there who are like, he's a bad player, but he fits on his team, so he works for me.
The Mackey.
And then what about the whole Craig Berube? You guys loving that signing? Instead of someone getting fired, we got someone upped.
Oh, way better than Mike Yeo.
Yeah, way better than Mike Yeo, as we're seeing.
Remember when Mike Yeo coached that team for like a year?
And they were shit. And remember last to first?
Didn't they that was good times. Yeah, no.
Yeah, they won the cup that year.
Like a little Berubes.
Love Berubes. I think he's so good for this team. Moving on, we got a bit of another signing.
You do? Okay.
Sort of. It's a free agent signing, so I was just leading with the theme of signings. But Florida Panthers signed goaltender Mac Guzda, the 21-year-old goaltender I talked about the other podcast.
Old Guzda.
So they get 2 young, good prospect goalies, I guess. Well,
apparently he knew the coaches and knew some guys and all this crap, and he just felt
bullshit.
So.
He just thought this team will be good for a long time. I'm sure he probably does, but no, good sign for Florida. He looks like a decent 21-year-old free agent, anyways. But what were you gonna say there before I
That's what I was gonna bring up. This guy.
Oh, this guy, perfect.
Yeah,
Yeah. I was going there. Don't worry, I got it. Let's go to some more, maybe a couple more signings, but in the brass side of things, go to Vancouver. Cami Granado is hired as part of the hockey ops department. She was a scout for the Kraken since 2019, one of their pro scouts. So making the jump just over the border north.
Part of the Kraken too.
Yeah, she was doing a lot of she was pretty much head of their scouting, or one of the few. They didn't have many scouts in 2019, so she was their first group of scouts, which is nice. Moving on to the Philadelphia Flyers as well. They hire some more brass. They hired Daniel Briere as special assistant to the GM. Now, I've never heard this. Have you guys heard of this position before? Special assistant to GM? That's a little weird.
Special assistant.
Yeah, it's not just an assistant. He's a special assistant. So I'm guessing he's like heir to Fletcher type of deal is what's going to happen. No?
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know. He was pegged to be GM, and he was one of the few pegged to be GM in Montreal, and it never came to it. I don't see him being far off from being a GM in a couple of years. So
hopefully it's like a new position. Maybe they created a new position to be like, yeah, you're basically the take
you're
over
the
this
GM.
guy's job.
Yeah, you're like his boss in a way where
you're secretly
you look over his work and make sure it's okay before it goes through.
Report to me as the owner just to make sure I know what this fucking guy is doing.
That's why I asked. I wondered, like, what kind of position is it? Because Fletcher is like
detective.
Yeah, exactly. He's like the
special
owner's,
agent.
his eyes and ears in the franchise. But yeah, no, I think this is a great signing for Philly. He goes back to where he played most of his career, or at least the tail end, and had a cup run with them. I think Daniel Briere is going to be a good GM based on what I'm hearing from what he's done in the ECHL and such. Like, looks like he's really
Danny Briere he's smart. He's good.
He's a very smart man. Absolutely. And moving on to another legendary player for their team, Scott Niedermayer is signed to be special advisor to hockey ops in Anaheim. So lots of brass movement.
Talk about smart, like that is hockey sense. That guy's like just good God,
effortless skating.
Holy
too.
Shit.
Do you remember watching that guy skate? Like 2 minutes for straight shift, and he's just like, I'm good.
Yeah,
seemingly he's amazing.
He was a machine, man. Like I said, like one of the smartest players.
Oh, he's probably up there, top 5 demon ever for me, honestly.
Or am I thinking of Rob? I think might be the forward.
Rob's the forward, yeah.
Yeah.
But
you said Scott, right?
Yeah, I said Scott Niedermayer.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, don't worry.
Yeah,
it's the good
he
one.
He is the Preems. He is the Preems, man.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Anyways, that's all we got one more. We got an interview for a GM job as Chicago has interviewed a Cubs executives. Yes, the Chicago Cubs in baseball. For the GM job, Jeff Greenberg. We've seen this many times before, going outside of the sport to hire managers and such like that. I don't know how to really calculate it without seeing what he's done in an NHL franchise, so it's interesting.
Yeah.
Sure, he's a smart man. He's working for the Cubs as an executive. He's probably very intelligent, I imagine. So that's all I got on Jeff Greenberg for you.
Yeah, that's a pretty...
It's a name. It's a name. I don't know what it is, but I don't know why Chicago are doing it.
Maybe it was part of that 2016 World Series title sort of thing. Like just like Pittsburgh's doing with that Boston Fenway group sort of thing. It's just like we're just gonna bring in a bunch of guys that like understand how and what you
fundamentals
need to do
of winning as a franchise, not as
exactly
as
like
right. Yeah, what you need in the upper
maybe,
levels for sure. Yeah, you never know. Like I'm always intrigued, but what was his name in Buffalo?
I wonder how up to date or how into all the assets or facets of the game that the NHL is compared to like the super uber duper multi-billion-dollar NFLs and NBAs. Like, what do they got going on in their front offices? Probably a hell of a lot more than we do. So maybe it's just more of that is what we'll see. Like, that's why these guys are in contention and why they're getting signed, because like they can bring you like, I used to run this whole thing, which is something you guys don't even have in your organization or something. You know, you gotta wonder if that's what's going on.
I agree. Like, and I'm like I said, I'm totally cool going outside the box looking for guys, but I can't really talk about them if I don't know what they do in the hockey world, right? It definitely makes you like, okay, I'm open to trying it, but it's we'll see what we get type of deal. It's not I have good hopes or anything. It's like, I don't know. We'll see. But anyways, there's not much news elsewhere. Otherwise, we got a bit of Tuukka Rask. He officially retires after 15 seasons, trying to come back this year, and his hips started causing him more grief again, and just didn't think he could fight through it and play. And frankly, he started off pretty good, but he started to have rough time after the past couple weeks of playing, and it was probably done for him. No.
Oh man, that's so shitty. Hey?
It's so shitty, obviously. Like, I feel so bad for him. He had a fantastic career. Like, I heard a couple stats that he's like third all time in what was it? I think it was wins.
He has a career
or wins percentage or something like that. I can't remember. Yeah. It was third. One of the something in goaltending where he's third all time in wins of some sort. I can't remember what the stat was.
308 wins and 165 losses. Yeah. So like that's an insane, a pretty big margin. Like that's almost another 165 losses to get yourself up to. Yeah, like wow.
To get yourself 500.
A career .921 save percentage and a career 2.28 goals against average.
Yeah, 2.28. He was outstanding. Like, that simple. Like,
just some of the good years he's had. Like, I know they aren't super amount of games, but like 45 games, 1.9 goals against average. 23 games one year, he had 2.05, 36 games, 58 games, 2.04 goals against average. Like, holy crap, man. That's several years at 2.
Now,
flat 2.
Quick, while we're on Rask, here's the real question. Now, he has 1 Stanley Cup as a backup. He went to 2 Stanley Cups and lost, I believe, in the final as a starter.
1. 1, and then he went, 2.
13, right? 13 against Chicago and 18 versus Blues. Yeah, okay. And he was the backup to Tim Thomas in 11, I believe. Is he a Hall of Famer? That's the question everyone's going around. Should he be inducted?
I wouldn't say first ballot. No. I mean, Luongo still has to be inducted.
Yep. Yeah, that's a fair point.
I definitely say yes, Hall of Fame.
I agree. I think he's definitely not first ballot, but there's a couple other guys that were compared that are in the Hall of Fame. Again, can't think of them off the top of my head. Sorry, but
like I've said several times, I know nothing about like what it takes and the actual like line of like being a Hall of Famer.
We make it up ourselves, but on your own imaginary line, does he cross it?
Yeah, exactly. And that's, I don't know. I have a suit. I think if I actually made a Hall of Fame, like I'd put that line really high, like crazy high. I don't know if I'd go.
Oh, really?
Like, this is 13 years. Hey, like I'd be close. I definitely would. Like, the stats are really mind blowing. So like, I think I would because of that. I shouldn't be thinking about the years that much, just simply because he's a goalie.
And that's why
10 years in the league is probably good enough. It's just that obviously it's Rask. He's had his injury a little bit, but decent amount of games played. 564 is.
I think that's what makes it okay for him. The fact that he's had a couple injuries, but he's always played through. He's went on so many cup finals. Like, it's the playoff stats too. It's the playoff stats. Like, he is so good.
Like, I can't give you an off year by just looking at his stats. Like, I wouldn't be able to be like, that was the year he wasn't very good. Like, I wouldn't be able to do that. Like, there's a .915 save percentage here and whatever, but like that could be not a good team. Like, they didn't make the playoffs that year, so like I don't know. Like, was it just his fault? Like, I couldn't even give you 1 year he did bad. So that's I don't see why he wouldn't be in the Hall of Fame, especially like how things seemingly go and who gets in. It seems like he's definitely worthy, I would assume, honestly.
Yeah, exactly.
52 shutouts.
That's pretty impressive. So, yeah, it was just a question I thought I'd ask. Everyone's asking it, and they'll be asking it in due time. So, thought I'd
17 assists.
Nice, true playmaker. Anyways,
he's even got 2 playoff assists, bud. Let's go.
There you go. Look at that. Even a playoff performer. Probably has more points than Mitch Marner in the past 2 years in the playoffs.
I guess I'll do a tribute. Rask, I will never forget you. Dude, I've loved you since you came to the league. I was so stoked when you went to Boston.
Don't worry. No one in hockey will forget him.
Love you, man.
Nobody will forget him, though, because the hockey world consists of Leaf fans, and the Leafs traded you away. And it's still funny. So you'll never be forgotten.
He started the trend of just epic Finnish goalies. Like, it's just... Oh my God!
I wouldn't say start the trend because Kipper.
The recent.
Trend. Okay, yeah, Rene and Kipper. I was gonna say, but yeah, no, for sure.
So many
took the reins, but no, definitely a great career. I only got one more thing for news, and then we can go into our final Arizona segment, which I'm super pumped for. But our last little bit of news: the Ottawa Senators have been a very popular target for trade calls lately, apparently. So, maybe we.
Yeah, did you see the names? It was pretty funny.
I didn't actually. What were the names?
Just a bunch of random dudes,
like Chris Tierney, Connor Brown,
Chris Tierney,
Chris Brown.
So just so that's.
Not surprised they're trade.
Probably
target.
Not gonna get a first round pick, but yeah, I'm sure a lot of people are all over snagging the 1 or 2 guys that they'll go.
Absolutely. So. I know it's pretty minor, but a trade's a trade, and a trade gets me excited. So that's all I can say.
Hell yeah, dog.
Anyways, should we get into our Arizona armchair GMs, basically? Yeah. I guess I'll throw in a little backstory with this, with what we're doing. We've been, obviously, you guys know how invested we've been with the Chychrun trade, and we did with the Eichel trade beforehand, so... We were very interested in seeing what Arizona could do at the trade deadline, but then we kind of took it a step further and said they could even do a lot more for this offseason and the draft. So what we did was we did a full trade deadline with Arizona, a first-round draft with Arizona, so whether we get more first-round picks or trade up, whatever the case is, like Chase kind of teased there earlier. We're going to do our first round, tell who we picked, what trades we made there, and then some of the signings we made leading into next season, and basically our direction. Big theme of today's episode was pick a direction and show it to us. So we kind of picked our own direction for Arizona. So
where are you going, hey?
Yeah, exactly. So let's
right?
Exactly sell or sell more. So let's start off with the trade deadline. I think that's something easy we can all do together first. So I'll start off with the trade deadline first, if you guys don't mind, and then you guys can jump on theirs. Sound good? And then let's rank each other's deadline as well. So
okay, yours is 0 out of 10 already.
Yeah, probably. I made 5 trades at the deadline. So quite a bit.
Yeah.
A lot of trades, but that's what I think you need to try and get some value. But so starting off,
the exact same amount as I made, so don't feel
same as me, except I did a 3-way trade.
One's a 3-way for me as well. So like 2 of them are involved in the same, so don't worry. So starting here, we got Phil Kessel going to the Nashville Predators for a 2nd-round pick. No salary retention. Now, I want to preference this because I don't know what the rules with salary retention are. I think you can only have 3 people retained per season, right?
I think retained? It's only 2. A contract can only be retained twice.
I mean, like separate contracts though, on the books in that season.
On your team, yes, it's 3.
3? Okay, I thought so.
Spans.
And I wanted to retain someone else, so like I had to take someone who would take full Phil Kessel salary. Actually, I'm going to tell you guys my first trade I made because I first retained salary, and I want to know what you guys think because it's to the Capitals. I traded Phil Kessel and Lyubushkin 50% retained Phil Kessel to the Capitals for Carl Hagelin and a first. So I gave him an extra D prospect, but they got rid of the Hagelin contract and Kessel for scoring help. That was the original one I made. Hagelin and a first for 50% retained Phil Kessel and Lyubushkin, a right-handed defensive D-man. It was really good. So not to buy up from rental, scoring help. You can push Sheary down the lineup then, right? That was the original I had, but I needed the cap space retention. So he's a predator. Long story short, he's a predator.
I like that. That was where I was gonna go with Phil Kessel. Actually,
awesome.
I was thinking about the Predators because in all reality, they could use somebody who's just actually been in the league,
right,
and just have a more dependable right-handed scorer than just Forsberg.
That's just what I went for, and I'm like, I don't know. Nobody else would take them. Maybe Nashville feels they got their good chance because they're having a good year. Like, I don't know.
And Nashville will give you a second-round pick.
That's what I thought, right? And they got one for Arvidsson, so I would think they would give one away. So
it's just more of like Arizona wants or feels they need a first over Kessel. But if you can't retain,
exactly. My next trade I made with the Toronto Maple Leafs, a very small trade, but I trade for Nick Ritchie and Roni Hirvonen for a 4th-round pick.
Why would you want Nick Ritchie? No, I'm kidding.
To take Roni Hirvonen. So basically stealing their 2nd-round pick, who's a decent Finnish prospect, giving him a 4th back because Hirvonen's a real prospect, so I didn't want to give him a nothing. I even maybe would have thrown in a 3rd, but whatever.
Oh yeah, just helping them out with cap space.
Well, and that's why, I wanted to make it fair where Arizona's taking advantage, but not too much. You know what I mean? Because Toronto would fight it. So whatever. Anyways, that's my one trade. Now I got my 3-way trade. This one is, I don't know. It's interesting. I did what I could. Okay. So first, a 3-way trade with the Vegas Golden Knights. And then the Boston Bruins. Can you guess who I'm taking off of Vegas?
Dadonov.
I'm taking Dadonov. That is correct. So, how the trade goes, basically, I trade to Vegas Lawson Krause. I trade Lawson Krause and Ilya Lyubushkin for Evgeny Dadonov and a 1st-round pick from Vegas and 2023 1st-round pick. Then I 50% retain Dadonov and I send him to Boston in exchange for John Moore, Chris Wagner, Jakub Zaboral, and a 3rd. So basically cap dumps and a 3rd-round pick, but I got a 1st out of Vegas for it. So to retain.
Ooh.
And I gave up Krause and Lyubushkin for a playoff run this year, both $1 million contracts, so it can help Vegas.
So Boston got Krause, is what you're saying?
No, Boston got Dadonov. Vegas got Krause and Lyubushkin. So here, I'll tell you what we all end off with. So Vegas ends off with Krause, Lyubushkin, and Dadonov's full contract gone. I end up with John Moore, Chris Wagner, Jakub Zaboral, a 3rd-round pick from Calgary, and a 1st-round pick from Vegas in 2023. And Boston gets Evgeny Dadonov at 2.5 mil. So a really cheap contract for this year and next year's playoff run. And they only had to give up money, Zaboral, and the 3rd-round pick for it.
I like it.
Crazy.
It's crazy. It seems like it's a lot from Vegas's perspective, but they need to trade money away.
Yeah,
they have to. That's the difference. They have to, so they're already stuck. And they get Krause and Lyubushkin out of it. I think that's a fucking hell of a deal to get rid of Dadonov and get those guys out with it for a 1st. Krause can be a 3rd, 4th-line guy. Lyubushkin, same 5th, 6th defenseman. So, yeah, I just try to be as creative as I can with it there. And then...
And you got a 1st-round pick and a 3rd-round pick?
Yeah, I got 1st and a 3rd and Zaboral. And then I only had to take Dadonov's contract and John Moore and Wagner, which, who gives a shit because we're Arizona and we have money. I'm utilizing cap space, so easy enough. And then finally, my last trade, a Jacob Chychrun trade.
Ooh, nice.
I was not going to trade him until the draft. I was really waiting until there, and then I said, I think the value will go down at the draft. I don't know why. Just one less year, the contract. They know like a team going for it this year will really pay up. So I tried. So I traded with Florida Panthers because I think it's the best value I can get for it. I didn't recreate Jordan's trade though. I kind of went a little bit of a different route because I just didn't want to give up Forsling from Florida's perspective because I couldn't find a way where it's fair for Florida. So it's a little undervalued, I guess, slightly, but I think I like it anyways. But Jacob Chychrun going to Florida, just Chychrun. I get Lucas Carlson, a 24-year-old D-man who's playing for Florida right now. He's all right, just a young guy playing in the NHL right now. Gregory Denisenko, a first-round pick, obviously, from 2018, a really good player. Alexei Hypeniemi, another first-round pick, I believe from 2017 or 19, I can't remember. Another good pick. Noel, a second-round pick from 2019. Owen Tippett, Frank Vetrano, and a first in 2023. So
Jesus Christ.
Lots and lots of names, but like we said, there's so many teams interested. Teams are going to have to trade up. And I didn't ask for Spencer Knight and Lundell, so you have to give me everyone else pretty much. And pretty much everyone here, they said they're open to trade, and Vetrano's for cap. So, and I can take back Nudavara if it makes it more fair. I'm totally fine with doing that. I just didn't because I didn't care. And I don't know how long he's injured for. So, but yeah, what do you guys think? That's my trade deadline. What do you guys think? I basically got a first round pick in 2023, a second round pick I got 2 first round picks in 2023, a second round pick in 2022, a third round pick in 2022, Roni Hirvonen, Hypeniemi, Denisenko, Noel, Tippett.
Yeah, definitely got some pieces.
I got lots of pieces there. Tons of names, decent draft picks, and I really didn't have to give up too crazy other than Lawson Crouse. It's the only name I didn't care to give up.
Yeah, no, it's pretty intense. Yeah, you did.
It's
give
intense,
up Gross, I guess. So that's why you're getting maybe a little bit extra back. But yeah, I don't know. That's pretty crazy. It's quite a bit of.
It's a lot of moves.
Quite a bit of prospects actually that you got.
Yep.
I guess out of that Florida deal, that's for sure.
I got
keep the cupboards full.
4 prospects, all forwards, crazy enough, and I got Lucas Carlson on defense. And Arizona's offense has been so lackluster. I want to have as many names, like you said with the Devils, as many prospects as you can. Play them at once. You can play 6 guys. And if you're bad, you're bad. Because that was my goal, which you'll see once I do the offseason. But, yeah, that's my trade deadline. What about you guys? Who wants to go next?
Jordan, do you want to go or what?
No, why don't you go?
All right. Okay. Chase, why don't you kick her off? What is your trade deadline for the Arizona Coyotes?
Okay, so I don't want to spend too much time on the Chychrun trade that I made because I did make a Chychrun trade with Boston again.
Yeah, I thought you would.
The only reason I want to bring this up is because I want to bring up the condition that I put on this, and the condition is basically,
yes, I remember.
Can you put a condition on a player that if he's signed, that the Arizona Coyotes would get a first round pick in 2026? Because he'll be a free agent in 2025 or whatever. So the 25-26 season, he'll sign with somebody, whether it's Boston or not. I'm just wondering, can you put a condition on this trade where Arizona gets a first round pick from somebody who would sign?
Yeah,
that actually signs them.
Now, the reason, Chase asked me this last night, and I told him to bring it up again on the podcast because I thought this was interesting to talk about and ask really quick. Because we've never seen it. They've never said no. But
yeah, there's been so many moves and so many things that
so many crazy stuff that was
they're doing this stuff. They're seemingly always allowed to be able to pull off some crazy trades and stuff like that.
Actually, here.
And
I think I found a loophole. Now, hypothetically, let's say they say no, you can't do that. Now, I bet you could do a conditional pick though, where you ask for a first round pick in 2026 is conditional. If Boston lets him go, then they give you a first, or they sign him, they give you a first or something. You could do it that way. But I
Yeah, you
don't
could
know
do
if
like
you
a
could.
condition.
I don't
Maybe
think you
do it.
could make someone have a condition when they're not involved in the trade at all until 3 years
Hey,
down the
like
line, right?
that's what
Because
I
they
was
can be
thinking. Is
any
that like
team.
yeah, exactly. Like, how do you make a condition that affects the whole league? Like, I think
I
when you're
don't think
making a
you
trade,
can.
you can only make conditions that affect those two teams. It can't
Probably.
be
Yes.
other teams. So
Correct. I
that's
think that's what the answer is. It
so
can only
I just
be
wanted to
involved in the trade. That's
yeah, I
my
just wanted to
answer.
bring
But
that up first because
yeah,
like this
no,
isn't
it's a great
really
question. It's a great
this isn't
question.
like I'm for surely trading Chikrin for all this stuff because this could I just want to bring it up for this sort of case because basically the package that Boston's giving them is Mike Riley, Euro Vakanainen, the two cap dumps in Moore and Wagner, and then there's two more first round picks.
Yeah.
So like you get a first round pick out of Vakanainen, and he's like an 18th overall, and then you get a 2022 and a 2023 first round pick out of Boston, and you get a Mike Riley replacement right now for Chikrin. And then that's why I brought up the other condition because in all reality, like, can you do something like that? Like, if
Probably
you're
can do
Boston,
something.
like, you're not going to give up anymore. I don't even know if you would give up that. Would you even sign Chikrin if you had to give up like 3 first round picks right now and Mike Riley? So like, you gotta. It's not something that I love, but I just wanted to bring it up just because it could be something that I don't do. I do not
I
do this.
think.
Chikrin. I'll actually bring up Chikrin later because I could not do this and do
Okay.
something pretty interesting at the draft. But
Yeah. No, it's interesting, but I don't think so.
I'll get into the Kessel trade that I have. I have him going to Minnesota.
Yeah, that's my other
So
team.
Phil Kessel and whatever the highest pick is or latest pick out of their second round picks of Arizona, they have like the Islanders, the Canucks, Philadelphia, San Jose in their own.
Nashville.
So whatever the later pick of that is. So yeah, and it's just for Victor Rask for money to come back and a first round pick. So this still gives Minnesota some leeway and some ability to trade for like what I was thinking, like a Chris Tierney or something like that.
Right.
Because in my world, the Colorado Avalanche get Claude Giroux because that's just what I'm going with, I guess. And also, if I did like that Boston trade, or if Boston actually did that trade, they would also go out and get like a JT Miller or like somebody like that with like Jake DeBrusk and like one of their other actual prospects that they didn't actually give me, and like Studnicka or Fabian Lysell or whatever the hell. So
whoever they want.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, so that Minnesota trade was just Kessel, a second round pick for Victor Rask and a first round pick. Basically, Arizona just moves up, gets that first round pick. And then I'll get to my 3-way trade, which involves the Coyotes, obviously, the Avalanche, and the Blackhawks. And this is where some goalies get swapping as Marc-Andre Fleury gets retained $2.5 million by the Chicago Blackhawks, picks up, goes to Arizona. Arizona retains 2.25, which would be 50% of the $5 million left.
Mm-hmm.
Or whatever it was. 2.25 retains that. It ends up with $2.25 million going to Colorado. So they basically swap Kemper for Marc-Andre Fleury. Fleury ends up on Colorado with only a 2.25 cap hit, and Darcy Kemper ends up on Chicago at $7 million for this year. But Chicago does this to sign him to an extension. So they pay the same amount for Fleury, and they sign him to an extension. Chicago just gives up a 2023 second-round pick from Tampa and this year's third-round pick from the Vegas Golden Knights, which goes straight to Arizona. Arizona then takes that third-round pick, gives it to Colorado. Then Arizona instead of giving them the second-round pick, Colorado gives the Coyotes Tyson Yost and Martin Kaut. So then that second round pick turns into the first round pick they gave up for Kemper and also the third-round pick that Chicago also sent them. So basically, in the end, I'll give you who ends up with who.
Yeah, that's a big trade. I like that.
It's fucking huge.
So Marc-Andre Fleury and also Travis Boyd, a nice low min deal for Colorado. He's been playing great. They could probably use the extra depth help just in case. So Colorado gets those two guys for players, and they get a first-round pick in 2022, which is their own, and a 2022 third-round pick, which they use to trade for Claude Giroux. And Colorado gives up Darcy Kemper, Tyson Jost, and Martin Kaut. Does that sound somewhat fair for those guys? Giving up Kemper, Yost, and Kaut for Fleury at like 2.25 mil, Travis Boyd, and a first and a third.
Yeah, I would think so. Yeah, cheaper goalie. Yost, I really don't give a fuck about, honestly.
Yeah, Cout's pretty decent prospect.
Cout's good. Cout's all right prospect, but is he what, like a late first,
guy.
Early second, or something like that? Yeah, he's like 6'3" or something.
Yeah, he's a pretty decently sized guy. It sounds like he's developing quite well, and yeah, basically, what happens with Arizona here? So, what Arizona does is the Colorado Avalanche technically trade Kemper to him, and Kemper picks up his $1 million retained salary and brings it with him to Chicago. So basically, Arizona's just using Kemper's retained spot for Marc-Andre Fleury and just adding an extra 1.25 to that retained spot. So it's basically money, a couple mil. They get a second-round pick out of Tampa Bay for next year, which gives them 2 second-round picks. And then they get also my bad. Yost and Kaut. So they're just kind of there to be the middleman, basically. So pretty trippy trade. Like I said, Colorado would do that and try to trade for Giroux, just basically saving money and whatnot.
Yeah.
And then, do you have anything to say on that at all, or I can move on?
It makes sense. It's fucking insane. Like, obviously, like a lot of moving pieces to make it work, which is what makes it so fun.
Yeah, I'll try to explain that. Like, basically, Chicago's paying up a second and a third to get Kemper for like long term, right?
Yeah, it makes sense. Like, obviously, you're getting a cheaper goalie in Fleury to bring in Giroux, so Colorado, that makes instant sense. Chicago, you're kind of stabilizing goalie for potentially now in the future if you want to even extend Kemper. He's on a decent same deal as Fleury, right? Or same money goes back basically.
Yeah, he would be. They'd be technically. They'd have $7 million on the books after, but they would have Kemper for this year. And like I said, they would sign him. Like the whole point of this for Chicago would be to sign him to an extension.
So yeah, I think it's great.
Yeah, because like Colorado gave up a first and a third and Timmins for Kemper. So Chicago's given up Fleury a second and a third for Kemper.
Yeah.
And they're taking on some cap space.
Yeah, and giving Colorado cap space. It's basically, it's giving
just to get a first round pick so they can go hunt for a big fish, whether it is Giroux or Hurdle or whoever.
Riley Smith or whatever the case is. Like, it could be anyone. So no, it's a good trade. It makes a lot of sense.
Pretty trippy.
It's
I thought it was a cool idea.
It's a cool idea. It's trippy as shit.
Yeah. The other thing is like, can you do that? As in, like, can Kemper come back and pick up his retained salary, or did you retain that salary and it doesn't matter if you trade for him back? You wouldn't be able to package that up and send it somewhere because that was part of a different trade. Like, I don't know if you can do that.
I have no idea.
Another random thing I wanted to bring up, like maybe these are things that will happen. You know,
I'm
these
sure
random
these
conditions that I'm bringing up, and
this
random
is
things
why I want to be a part of that email chain that the GMs have. There's like a email chain where all GMs are a part of it, and certain people in the NHL that they can like approve stuff through or whatever. So I just wish I was on that chain so I could ask these exact questions.
Yeah, no doubt. It would be pretty cool. And then I'll go to Edmonton to a probably not popular trade. I have the Edmonton Oilers sending the Arizona Coyotes Tyson Barrie, Mike Smith, as I'm going with the fact that he's going to get hurt again or something, and like it just doesn't look good. Like how it's been for the first half of the season. I'm assuming that kind of trickles and keeps happening towards the deadline. And like Edmonton can't keep dealing with this. They can't just have one of their goalies hurt. He's on a contract for next year. Like this is they can't deal with this. So they shed
tough.
Yeah, they shed Barry, Mike Smith, and Kyle Turris. So they're saving a bunch of money this year. But they are giving them
back to Arizona. Oh, he would hate.
He would hate Arizona
them.
back to.
They would hate. They would hate Edmonton so much.
Oh, they would hate Kenny so much. It'd be like the first time he did something. Players just actually, I'm sure he's done a lot of things that piss players off. But Edmonton getting not much back. Actually, pretty sketchy return. They only get Christian Fischer, who I kind of think highly of as like a third line player. I just think he can be a cheap guy for you for a long time, and it's nice that he's right-handed. And honestly, it's weird how many teams are missing just
his
like a right-handed
also under
guy.
Control for next year. He's an RFA, so that's worth noting. Yeah,
exactly. Hey, and that was the other reason. So he's mainly the big future piece out of this, and then just because I'm assuming maybe they will have to trade Cassian, and if maybe possibly whatever. But the other two guys is Johan Larsson. So Johan Larsson 7 times better than Kyle Turris.
Funny thing is, you say there. The way you're talking about Fisher is how exactly I feel about Johan Larsson. I think he's got some game in him that's very quality. He's got some quality.
And he's not like crazy old or anything like that. So
25,
a guy you could maybe sign. He'd be a perfect guy to sign for a mil or two or something like that. I think he would be very helpful for them, especially with the way Edmonton's depth plays. And the other guy is half retained Anton Strawman. That is who I used my last retention spot on, was Anton Strawman to the Edmonton Oilers to help those guys defensively get a little bit more of a better PK. The way Bouchard's playing, that is why I'm trading Barry here.
I don't think you need Barry's number one PK. Like every time I watched this past 2 games. That's why I meant power play. Sorry. Is power play, like I watched these 2 games I watched in Edmonton, it was always Bouchard on the number 1 unit.
So Barry's just not needed anymore.
Exactly.
You might as well get a Strawman who can do heavy minutes on the PK and actually help you defensively. And possibly like sending a Strawman and a Johan Larsson together, there's a chance you might be able to keep these guys on fairly low deals. And it's not really a bad option, but it also gives you cap space. This is more cap space. You save like 3.2 mil to trade for a goalie. And that's kind of the whole point of this.
I was literally complaining about it earlier in the podcast.
So no, it doesn't look like much. Like it's Strawman, Johan Larsson, and Christian Fischer.
It's a pre-trade
for
to do
Tyson
another
Barry.
Trade, right?
Yeah, for Barry, Smith, and Turris. But 2 cap dumps, you're getting a Tyson Barry who you can trade later. And Edmonton's got cap space and a couple decent players that would probably help them more now than the guys they have.
Yeah.
So it's just a matter of keeping them and how that would look later in life, obviously. Because you could probably trade Barry for a whatever pick or maybe a certain mediocre player that's better than all 3 of these guys. But that's my second last trade. A quick last cap dump was more an LTI dump from Dallas. I got them sending Ben Bishop and this year's 22 third round pick and a 2024 5th round pick. So just a couple random picks to Zona to take on that LTI Cup. And basically they just give him Scott Wedgwood back for like a third goalie, as I'm assuming Dallas may move on from Holtby at the deadline and play like a Kudobin and Ottinger. They also get Riley Nash because they're kind of they're in the playoff race here, so I don't see why they wouldn't have an extra forward that they can use, get a second Luke Glendening on the team. So that's basically that is my trade deadline, boys. My trade deadline. So my team looking like a little Yost, Schmaltz, and Keller, Kroos, Dzingel, Turris, Roussel, Victor Rask, Ladd, Galchenyuk, Lee Erickson,
Yeah.
Liam O'Brien. But it gets real interesting. I got a decent defense, and the Ghost, Dyson Mayo, got Mike Riley and Capo Bianco, Euro Vakanainen and Tyson Berry. And then you got all the extra guys they have, and like Timmins, Labushkin, and all that sort of stuff. So
for sure,
looking pretty sweet. Looking pretty
nice.
sweet. Got Smith as the backup.
Yeah, honestly, for sure. Just trading away pieces, obviously, to get future assets, take some money on, and
take
it makes a lot of sense.
Take a couple contracts there next year,
useful for next year. Yep, no, that's fair. Jordan, what do you got for us at your trade deadline?
Yeah, so my deadline starts with me phoning up the Capitals. I want to take on Carl Hagelin's shit contract, and I'd also like a second round for doing so. In exchange, I'll give them Travis Boyd.
Hey, he's taking the Boyd back. Hell yeah, bud.
Yeah, because I think that they would benefit from a bottom line of Boyd more than Hagelin being there. And then obviously the money makes it so that they could do another move if they want to.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes sense.
It's a beauty.
And if you're fine with it as a Caps fan, then I'm obviously fine with it.
Exactly.
I wonder if,
fine with it on both sides. So I figured that'd be a pretty decent starting deal.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, no doubt, man. No doubt.
Second deal, I'm calling up Ottawa. I'll send them 2 picks, second rounders, both of them, 2022 second rounders for Eric Brandstrom.
Ooh,
from Ottawa because they have not used him good.
I had a fucking panic attack for a second. Oh my god, I thought you said Eric Branson. I'm like, oh, not again.
No.
Oh my god, are you Jim Bennigan reincarnated? Like, oh god. I panicked for a second. Eric Brandstrom. Okay, wow.
Yeah.
2 seconds. Okay. Yeah. I'm actually really okay with that for both sides. He needs a change of scenery.
Yeah, they've barely been playing him, and he's a young guy with a lot of potential
to play. Yeah.
Third deal I'm doing. I'm calling up San Jose. I know that they want to free some cap, so I'll take Kevin LeBlanc in exchange for a 2022 second, their own second that we have, and a 2024 third.
Interesting. So a second and a third.
A second and a third for Kevin LeBlanc.
I like Kevin LeBlanc.
Yeah.
I really do.
And then
what's his contract?
The fourth move I'm doing is Phil Kessel. I'm retaining him 50%, sending him likewise to Minnesota for a different package, though.
Nice.
I want a 2023. I want the 2023 second round pick, and then I want Adam Beckman as well.
Nice. Yeah, I don't know what it is. I want to see Kessel, Boldy, and Fiala play on a line. Even though Boldy might not be ready for center, but something about Kessel, I think he'll help that team. But
yeah, I do too.
Yep.
Yeah, they do need the center depth more. If they,
yes,
I can see. I
wonder if they do 2 moves.
Probably make their priority a little bit more on center. But in my world, I'm going with they don't get those guys. Other teams will, like the Rangers or, like I said, with Boston or Colorado. I think they'll go more all out to get them, and I don't know if Minnesota will.
Fair enough. The Charoux.
And how smart is Guerin? Guerin's so smart. So is he going to give up the world just to go for this 1 year when he's got 3 or 4 unreal contracts and actually might be able to push for a cup somehow while he has $14 million tied up?
Unless he's able to keep the guy on a good deal or something. Yeah, no. Guerin's smart.
You gotta wonder, they're in a good spot to just go super nuts, though, old Minnesota. So, and if they do, I don't think they're trading for Kessel. Hey,
maybe, you never know. It's you might be able to get him for a lot cheaper than people think, especially near the end of the deadline if no one bites. Then,
see, that's
you never know.
Unsure about Kessel getting much at all for a long time. I've
wondered it, but
third round pick or something. How much are you willing to give up? Especially if you're not planning on signing this guy.
If you're able to get him for super cheap on your third line or second line, I think a team's willing to give up a second or a first.
As a contending team.
Yeah, if you can add a couple of things and one of them is Phil Kessel, I think you're absolutely doing it if you're trying to win, right?
Yeah, I guess what I'm getting at is it's probably, I feel like it'll be more of a conditional pick. We'll give you this pick, but
but
if
you
we
guys
don't
have to do
anything,
well.
like,
Yeah, no, that's fair.
Yeah, so yeah, no, I'm interested in how Minnesota attacks this because in all reality, they should go balls to the walls because this is really their only year to have any sort of space to do so. So
Yeah, they could, yeah. But anyways,
no, I like that trade.
let's move on into our
No, I've got one more
offseason.
trade.
Oh, you got one more trade? Sorry, I thought
Yeah,
that was your last deal.
okay. It's a small one. Don't worry. Vegas need cap space, so I'm gonna send Scott Wedgwood and a Fort to Vegas in exchange for Matthias Janmark and Laurent Brossois.
Yeah,
The
that's
brisket got a shutout against his ex-team, the old Oilers. That's good stuff.
Yeah.
No, I think that's where Vegas is going to go. I think they're going to trade a Dadonov and that brisket and
and
go with a cheap
maybe.
goalie.
Yeah,
and
I
that'll
agree.
be enough.
I think that's the way to go too. I agree.
I heard about Martinez coming up, and I was like, Jesus Christ! Like, I know you guys are playing good without him, but
they'll Kucherov him before they trade him. But yeah, no, I don't. That's a good trade though.
Yep, that's
just
the
Janmark's a nice little scoring piece, and obviously Brossois is probably a better.
Wedgwood and Brossois were pretty much a swap, and then the fourth was for Matt Janmark.
Yep, no, that's fair, and they get the money out that they need out.
Old Wedgwood can be pretty sketchy, but they might go try to grab some other random guy. Maybe he make him the third,
cheap,
but
right, that's big.
But exactly, it's a cheap contract.
You can always get a Holtby like right away if you want, like retain Holtby at $1 million.
Even like grab Anderson or somebody random, right?
Like there's someone you'll be able to grab. But anyways, shall we jump into our off seasons with this team and kind of go about it?
Indeed.
Alrighty. Then let's go with.
Let's start with the fact that Arizona has to trade that pick. Do they not?
Yeah, okay. Why don't you start it off? Because I think you probably have the most interesting draft type. So why don't you just do your draft, what you do at the draft, your signings and trades and everything, and then list your team. So just do your whole shebang.
Okay, so basically the season ends here. Arizona and Montreal have to trade those picks back and forth because Montreal's pick is the first pick in the draft is what I'm assuming. I got my assumed draft order here as I based it off of what we did for our projections the other podcast. So we got Montreal at 1, Zona 2, Seattle 3, Philly 4, San Jose 5, Columbus, technically Chicago is at 6, Buffalo 7, Ottawa 8, New Jersey 9.
I don't think it really matters roughly where people rank, honestly.
And Columbus at 10. So basically I go into this wanting to trade up for one of those Columbus picks as they have the 6th overall pick and the 10th overall pick. So I am trying to find a way basically to get two guys that I'm eyeing up. Now, I don't want to get too into exactly what the trades are, but I want to give you a couple ideas of how this could go down. So first idea is the Arizona Coyotes trade for both of those first round picks, the 6th and the 10th, and Patrick Laine, and they give up their 2nd overall pick and whatever the fuck else that Columbus would want. So the reason I would do that would be so I get Patrick Laine, and I assuming and hoping and I would know that Seattle and Philadelphia are picking defensemen before me, and that Joachim Kemmel will drop it to 6, and I can get Brad Lambert at 10. So the whole idea is to get a finish line. So that's what I'm trading for. The Arizona Coyotes go to Columbus.
Wow.
Say I want Patrick Laine and I want those 2 first-round picks. You can have my number 2 pick. And they also talk to everybody around the league or the few guys ahead of them and see who they're picking. And
so trade Laine for the number 2 overall pick.
Yeah. And 6th and a 10th overall pick.
Wow. They might
that's the first idea. That's the one idea you could do there. Because like in all reality, Columbus could do this. They could just not trade Patrick Laine and possibly have Kemmel drop to them at 6 and pick Lambert later. But that is how the draft rankings kind of look now. Like Kemo also looks like he could be third, and he's been ranked fourth and whatever.
Just pick him in the ballpark. We can never guess the draft this far away. So
yeah, what I'm guessing for the draft right now is Wright, Cooley, the defenseman Nemec going to Seattle, and the defenseman Yaroslav going to Philadelphia, and then that Matt Savoy at 5. So that's what I'm going with to make this technically work. So yeah, like that's one idea, but the other idea is that I could pick that number 2 spot in like Cooley or Savoy or whoever, or even Kemmel as a matter of fact. And then I can trade for the 6th overall or the 10th overall from Columbus and give them Chychrun, because we already know they want Chychrun.
Yeah.
So those are my 2 ideas there for like what would go on.
So which one did you decide?
Well, the one that I went with was the Line A one, getting the whole finish line and all that stuff.
Interesting.
I gave him
Can you tell me that Line A one really quick again? Sorry. So you give him the 2nd overall pick.
Yeah, so I gave him the 2nd overall pick. I gave him a 19th overall pick, a 30th overall pick, and I think I gave him a 2022 third. Like it was hard to realize like what do you even give? I don't know what it's too much shit to really understand what would be the value.
And then you get Line A, the 6th
and 10th overall pick, which would end up being Joachim Kemmel and Brad Lambert, and I would create a full finish line for next year.
Well, 2 years, you mean?
Be exciting.
Well, whatever. Yeah, exactly.
But 2-3 years. Yeah, no. Yeah, that's interesting. Wow, that's definitely interesting. What else did you do in the offseason then? So you draft those 3 guys, or 2 guys, I guess. You only had 2 first-round picks now.
So
what signings and other trades did you make then? So what's your lineup kind of like?
Basically I didn't make any other moves past that. I kind of went with the idea of just going into the year and waiting for deadline and making those types of acquisitions. So I signed like Patrick Laine to the same deal. I signed him for like 3 years. Because that's a good little time frame to see
3 years, like
what's up with him.
7.5 or whatever.
Yeah. I signed Kroos to a 2.95 for 3 years as well. Give him a little bit of a contract, prove himself so he can get paid. He's about 28, 29. Obviously, I got Tyson Yeo still there on that $2 million contract. I signed Nico Sturm from the Minnesota Wild. Thought that was a nice little steal of a pick for like $1 million for, I think it was just like a year or something. I don't think I signed him for extra years. And then just because I traded for like Turris and Rask, I thought I'd sign them for a year just to have them kick around, and I don't know where else they would sign, and they're extra players. I need players because obviously it's Arizona. They don't have very many players. You're probably not signing Roussel and a lot of those guys back anyways. So
nope.
But it gives you a chance to see if those Finnish guys can play with like a Laine, or you got Martin Kaut, who's close to coming in. Still gives Barrett Hayton lots of opportunity, and Tyson Yost lots of opportunity, Kroos and all those guys, and
getting points too.
And then you got a defense that's pretty nice. Like Barry and Eurovac and Einen is what I have on defense on my bottom pairing. Mike Riley and Connor Timmins sounds like a pretty dependable defensive pairing. And then Shane Ghost of Spirit and Dyson Mayo. So whenever somebody wants to offer me for the Ghost or Barry is probably my next move. So
interesting.
I was thinking about moving them right away, but I wasn't sure, and I didn't know who I would go to. And it's kind of like those are offensive D-men, so it's not like I don't know what the setup is. Who's missing their offensive D-man or their number one power play guy?
Can't predict the future, right?
And and like in all reality,
that's fine.
Half of those guys can sometimes do those, usually wait it out and see how things go with somebody.
And honestly, it's not that big of a deal. Like it's an extra trade that we do down the line, right? You got all we need to do is getting ready for next season. So if you roll in with that team next season, I will tell you right now before I get into mine that your team is better than mine.
Yeah. I also have the veggie milk.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's actually not bad, man. Like, my defense is a real defense in the league, which is kind of crazy.
Like, the way, like, you guys were making it sound, I'm like, oh, I might have a better, like, as good as a team as them. And I'm like, if I have as good as a team as them, then Jesus. But, yeah, no, you have a way better team than I put out. But, no, it's just interesting. It's cool. You definitely went for the I want to be hell of a lot better now approach, and sooner than later. Like, you definitely
it only
escalated their time
because, like, in all
reality,
Line A
coming in though
if Lambert
too for
and
Cooley.
Hemmel don't. Yeah, like if Lambert
that's a
and
big
Hemmel
deal.
don't do something right away, like I'm rolling like Barrett Hayton and Tyson Yost in the top or the second line, or Nico Sturm or Kyle Turris and Victor Rask. So like my depth options are just horrendous. So if people don't produce, but no, I feel you. Like it is better. It should.
You're
be
a lot better of a team.
Is what I'm getting at.
It will be better than the team they have currently. Whereas my team is.
I also have like I said, I have like 3 guys in this lineup that probably won't even play in Gunther, Kemmel, and Lambert. So like in all reality, like maybe I sign another guy or something like that. But
fair enough. No, that makes sense.
I'd like to. You might as well play these young guys. You at least have some guys coming up. You've got a lot of other random dudes you've had in your system for a bit that I'm sure can garner some playing time.
Soderstrom on defense is one that should be playing next year. So
like honestly, I said, with Ghost or Tyson Barrie, if there's somebody that's making a deal, I'd be doing it right away, like for sure in the off season. If I could get rid of one of them, probably Ghost, half retain him, because now I have all my retention or 2 retention spots, so can at least like make some moves. But it's pretty groundbreaking. In all reality, I really like Arizona, like being able to do something nuts with Columbus here.
You definitely did go pretty nuts.
I heard they're thinking about trading Line A again, so maybe Columbus goes that route. Maybe. A lot of this has to do with how the actual draft is going to line up. Like Logan Cooley would have to be the consensus number 2 by the draft. I don't think Columbus would do it unless they felt like very good about him.
Yeah, for sure.
So, but it's also cool that like they could just I could keep Chychrun and like trade up to the 10th pick or something like that, or 6th pick, and I could get Cooley and like one of those defensemen,
for sure,
like Juracek or Nemec, or even take another forward, because she's a nice stacked top 10 again.
Yeah, absolutely. Anyway, should we move on to our next one? Jordan, do you want to go next? Sure. All right. Well, what do you got for us for your draft signings and trades that you made around that time?
Not too much. I've got the Holt Beast. He's coming to Arizona for Liam O'Brien, Alex Galchenyuk, and a second in 2022.
Okay.
And then I'm sending Laurent Brossoit to Seattle for 2 6th-round picks, 2022 and 2023.
Ooh, interesting.
I think you're really undervalued.
You're undervalued.
Brisket, dog.
He's pretty
Brisket's
good, man.
Beast. Like, there's a reason he got like 2-some mil.
Like, his contract isn't bad. It's just that Vegas can't afford a backup goalie for that.
Enough. I didn't know his value too much. So
no, he's good. He's actually honestly he's better than Edmonton's goalies.
Either way, I would send him to Seattle for picks. Okay, so whatever his value is.
Fair enough.
To Seattle, and that's it. I'm keeping Jacob Chychrun.
And you're just keeping him. Ooh, that's
nice.
I like that. I like that you kind of went. We all went a different route a little bit.
Keeping the Chicka Homes, hey, nice.
That's pretty neat. And then what about signings? Did you make any signings? And your draft picks, obviously, what did you make?
Yeah, my draft picks ended up being, I went Shane Wright over first. I'm gonna assume we get the first pick.
Okay, fair enough.
And then the last pick I went, or the second, sorry, which would be Colorado's, I chose Connor Geekie. And then the third pick, which would be Montreal's, I chose Lee and Bichelle.
Okay. Yeah, I think Geeky would probably be gone by the time Colorado's pick would come around, but no, fair enough. Anyways, I'll jump into mine a bit here. I did a lot this offseason. You guys actually kind of surprised me with how little you did in the offseason. I thought you guys might do a little bit creative stuff, but no, that's the draft. I was very boring. I made a trade, just one trade at the draft, trading up. I traded Edmonton's first round pick, giving them Colorado's first and San Jose's second in that draft. So just moving up a little bit in the first, like 17, 16 overall pick instead of like 28-ish, 30. And with that pick, and I kept my second overall pick and had the last overall pick too. And with those 3 picks, I took second overall Logan Cooley, 17-ish, 15, whatever, that round pick. I took Rutger McGroarty. I can't say his fucking name. McGroarty, something like that. Very talented center / winger who is just good with the puck. And then last pick, I picked Owen Pickering, who is a Swift Current left-hand defenseman, really 6'4". He's huge. He's a big body, defensive, mobile, can puck move. All the things you kind of need. So kind of just all over the board with draft picks, 2 centers, and a D-man. But after that, this is why I kind of went a little bit interesting. I made one more trade, and that was to Vegas again. And I went and I stole Nick Hague from them for 2 seconds and a third. And the reasoning I did this is it's going to seem like a little undervalued, but I don't think they have cap space for Hague at all, based on what they're all going to have, unless they let like some big guy go. Yeah. Yeah, someone really big, or don't replace Riley Smith whatsoever. Like, they can't afford Hague. And they have enough replacements for him that I think they can move on. So it's basically a Devin Taves trade I was leaning towards, like something similar. So yeah, I get Nicholas Hague from them. And then after that, it's just signings. So for
what did you get Nick Egg for? What did you pay
2 seconds and a third. So all right. Devin Taves went for 2 seconds. So I thought if I add a third, that's fair value, right?
Sure. I certainly think so, especially with the position that they're in.
Yeah, and I gave up Chikrin, so I can use top lefty anyways. So, and then signing wise, for all my guys, I signed Fisher to a 1-year $1 million. I signed Barrett Hayton to a 2-year $950K. Dyson Mayo to a 3-year $1.4. Vejmelka to a 2-year $1.5. Capicano 2 years $850. Nicholas Hague, I signed him to a 6-year $4.4 million contract, so just locking him up. Yeah, overpaying him now, but I think that contract will turn into a gem. If as long as he turns out to be what he is. And then I signed Owen Tippett to a 2-year $1.5, and then Carlson Hypeniemi, I signed both 1 years at $800K and $925. Then a couple UFAs I signed. Johan Larson back, 2 years, 2.2. Scott Wedgwood, 1 year, $950K. Liam O'Brien, 1 year, $850K. Travis Boyd, 1 year, $850K. And then I signed Victor Rask to a 1 year, $3 million contract. It's overvalued, I know, but I wanted to get the cap floor first of all, and I needed a player to play center. So I thought, he can chill here. I signed Ilya Mikheyev to a 2 year at 2.5. Again, overvalued, but I think he might have a sneaky scoring touch that if I give him ice time, I'm going to see if it works. And if it doesn't, I can trade him away, right? So it's not a big deal. Exactly. And then I signed Ilya Lyubushkin back in the UFA because I don't think Vegas will have the money to sign him back either, to a 2 year, $2 million. And yeah, that's my team. But my team is bad compared to yours. Like, my defense is okay. I got Hague, Lyubushkin, Ghost, Mayo, Timmins, Moser. And then Capicano is my 7th. And then Vejmelka Wedgwood stays. And I got Mikheyev, Schmaltz, Keller, Tippett, Larson, Denisenko, Richie, Rask, Fisher, Hayton, Boyd, Ladd. And then Hypeniemi, Noel, Liam O'Brien. Bunch of guys for extra pieces and stuff like that. So I definitely want to be bad again. I want to get the first overall pick this year and try and get Bedard. Or Michkov. Like, I didn't want to make us too good, but I wanted to have some promise where we can trade stuff away at the deadline too. Like Lyubushkin, Ilya Mikheyev, maybe a Rask only on a 1 year deal. Stuff like that, right? So
yeah, getting Cooley would be pretty fucking.
I looked at that.
I guess I'm not sold on Cooley, but
and they've never been able to draft a legit top 2 guy before, it seems, Arizona. So I want to just do that for once.
Exactly.
I don't like it's always been like we had to take Strome higher up because he's a center and we need a center. Well, we had to take what's his name, Barrett Hayton higher up too, and like.
Yeah.
I want them to have the best center available for once, and they will.
That I just went straight finish because like I even traded
that's
technically
cool,
for like Vaakanainen as well. Yep. So like I got a bunch of Finns here, and it was just kind of a cool idea to because I know Columbus. I know they don't really
like Laine
that much. He's just not at all how they've ever played hockey. No. Like ever. Like they've never played that style of hockey.
Nobody in North America plays hockey like Laine, though.
That's kind of
Laine plays very Russian hockey.
Like look at Washington. Like they did at least for quite a while make the team around how Ovi played. Like at least when he was on the ice, So
yeah, but he at least threw the body when he.
But they also forced him into a full rounded game, and it's just I don't know. I just thought it was I fully agree with that because that's why I brought up the 2 ideas because in all reality you should take a Cooley or your Shane Wright your top pick there, and if I still had Chychrun, you might as well trade up for one of these defensemen and go from there if you feel like doing that. But no, I think Zona's got lots of options. I ended up with 4 first-round picks and 4 second-round picks going into the off season, and I had 2 first rounds, 2 second rounds, and 2 third rounds next year.
Yeah, I had
deal with, so
that's a good thing we should bring up. Instead of players, bringing up for me, my draft picks are insane. My 2022 draft, I had 3 in the first round, 3 in the second round, 1 in the third. 2023, I got 3 in the first round, 1 in the second, 2 in the third. And then 2024, I got 1 in the first, 3 in the second, 2 in the third. I have 20 some picks in the first 3 rounds in the next 3 drafts. And I have 7 first round picks in the next 3 drafts. That's insane.
Yeah, like in the end of mine, I think I had a 6th overall pick, a 10th overall pick, a 27th overall pick, and then the 34th overall pick. And Philadelphia, I think would have been right behind compared to what I was doing from our rankings from the other day. So Philly would have been 36 or something. San Jose would have been 37-8 or something. Just so many picks in the first 40 picks. You would have picked literally 10% of them, if not.
Yeah, more, no kidding. You would have probably hit on one. But yeah, what I tried to do with mine too is I tried to spread out my picks too, because you said a couple podcasts ago, Chase, they have too many picks in this first round. You just get bunch up on picks and have to trade away a whole bunch of them. So I spread them out a bit and getting some guys that are prospects now, some that are moved down the road and stuff. So I tried to just balance out the rebuild to be these next 3 years, we can be very bad and we're going to get a fantastic team through the draft. And
that's the other thing with Arizona. You can just hang out at the draft in the second round and just be yep, I'll take a player.
Yep, and that's exactly what I do with Haig. That's where I was thinking with
Haig. You just sit there and wait for people to call you, and you're just I'll take those. I got 4 fucking second round picks, man, in the first 10 picks of the draft or the second round. So
exactly. So.
Yeah. No, I'll take Gallagher. I'll take anybody. Whatever. I just said a name, but whoever people are actually gonna shed, because like I said, I have 3 guys in a spot that may not even play in the NHL next year, so. Probably gonna need 1 extra guy.
Yeah, exactly. So, but anyways, that is our Arizona armchair GM, all going different directions yet again, which is awesome to see, and just shows you, I guess, if you're an Arizona fan, it's not all doom. There's a lot of ways they can go about and be very interesting. Hopefully, they actually do so. But I got one thing in news. It's not hockey related, but a big basketball trade just happened a little bit ago, actually.
Brooklyn, oh my God.
I think I'll throw it out anyways, because Brooklyn Nets are trading James Harden to the Philadelphia 76ers for Ben Simmons, Seth Curry, Andre Drummond, and 2 first-round picks. So, wow.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Paul Millsap's also going with...
Is he in it as well?
Okay. Yeah, he's going with...
Backup
Harden, and so
backup Curry.
A little bit, yeah. So super cool.
Came up with that, so that's cool.
Yeah,
it's
super
about
cool
time that it happened. Hey, like wow,
traded again.
He was just clearly complaining about it the whole time. Hey, like I don't even watch this shit or follow it, but like SportsCenter will just put stuff out constantly about James Harden crying about his life all the time,
or
Simmons,
how
he's mad,
or Ben Simmons.
Yeah, either of them. Yeah, that's the talk of the town.
Exactly.
Well, it's just hilarious that like those two guys end up getting traded for each other.
Like, two crybabies.
Yeah, like you're the
like Dubois and Line trade.
Yeah, exactly. It's so funny. And,
wow. So, anyways, thanks for listening to the podcast. Go follow us on social media, on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube at the Couch on Ice, and we will catch you guys next week for next podcast. Bye, guys.